Alrighty then, gamers. This is the first Sunday of 2026, and we are still going as strong as we were back in the summer of 2021. Was that the date when GGST came out? I think it's around that time period-ish. And that basically means we're just about ready to get started with the weekly show tonight here on Bounty Hunters. So as you may know, the name of the game is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is first to 7 wins. Skill-based matchmaking is applied to all of our matches tonight to make it as exciting as possible. I'm your usual host QK, and now let's get this show on the road. Oh, I got a question about what was Spooky's flag. Actually, we could show that right off the bat, because that's a cool ass flag for sure. Yeah, Spooky asked, what is the flag here? It is actually Alternate Scat Noon, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, back to the poster. So what do we got in here? We got Finland represented pretty strongly, we've got France represented pretty strongly, we got Scotland represented pretty strongly, and then of course, if we're simply looking at where players are from, we got one really interesting matchup on the second last slot there, on the slot number 6, where Phantom is showing up tonight from the Dominican Republic. That is a very long-range connection, but the players did feel like it was playable, so we are including that in our roster tonight. That's super cool. So we're starting off this evening with slightly modified schedule. So I think Rigid is not showing up tonight, so we're replacing them with actually HiWill showing up on the roster twice. So of course HiWill has his match later on the card in the slot number 5 against Puuro, but HiWill is also stepping up on the slot number 1 as a random pick. So double matchup. That's pretty high fatigue kind of gameplay here. Some of these gamers are really nutty and crazy doing this, but yeah, it's gonna be random matchup between Spooky and HiWill to start things off. And then of course, I guess we can talk about the rest of the matches when time comes. We do have a lot of newcomers tonight, especially the sort of the mini sequence there in the middle-ish where we got ArpOxx, Yappie, Ads, as well as I think Dylan, Eccles at the end. And of course the aforementioned Phantom Thief 007. Those are our newcomers of the evening, so lots of new faces, lots of new tricks potentially. But let's circle back to what is, I guess at least half of this card is going to be true. It is Spooky, but their opponent tonight is not going to be Rigid, but will be HiWill showing up on that random select. And since time is tick-tock ticking, we should probably also already start the randoming sequence. Give me a couple of minutes to get all of my stuff in order. Oh yeah, we have time to swap. I think I had HiWill's old list. Do I have time to actually swap it on my... I'll swap it in if we have time at some point. It should be relatively similar to the previous one. I guess I can actually do it here. Let us do that in studio mode though. How different is this? Do I actually wanna? Yeah, we could do that just quick. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna update the picking interface to reflect what are HiWill's current picks. Rather power tiers. And I think it's almost this perfect size as well, so not too much that I have to do to make this work. Okay, and let me do this one as well. Actually, perfect. That's that somehow fits exactly where it's supposed to. Okay. That'll work, as they say. Okay, everything's good. Sorry about that short intermission. Just getting everything under control before we go. Okay, so let's start randoming. We got HiWill on the left. So let's spin the wheel, and if this is your first time watching a random select match, where basically, because the in-game interface is a little wonky, we are randoming character for both players on the browser side. We'll start with Dizzy, and for Spooky, it's gonna be a Johnny, which I believe is actually one of Spooky's stronger characters. And I did not ask about it, but I think we are gonna roll with the no duplicates rule here, which means no character is gonna appear twice. And as a reminder, this basically has nothing to do with like actual balance of the game. The tier list that you see from both players are basically their self-evaluations for how well they think they pilot all of those characters in sort of contrast to the rest of their characters. So basically how lucky they got randoming into that character. Alright, Will on a double showing here tonight, starting with a Dizzy. Oh, I forgot to check where Will's Dizzy was, but I think it was somewhere around the mid-ish or top. Maybe even higher than the middle. What? Aggressive burst into the corner immediately out of that jump beat. That goes to show how, how much you respect the momentum in a fighting game like Guilty Gear Strive. Even if you land like one of the weakest sort of pokes starters in the game, being jump B, that usually doesn't like convert very well in Strive. You still want to burst immediately and put them in a corner where you can actually pressure them. Will is taking quite a lot of damage. This could be enough with the super, doesn't even need to spend it. So first round going in favor of Spooky. It's probably, if Spooky takes this, is not a surprising turn of events, this being one of the most played character for Spooky. Of course, Spooky has since then, since being character locked, standard regular bounty hunters player, has basically transitioned into randoming most of their bounty hunters entries, because for a little bit of a mix-up there with the instant air dash, maybe waiting for the burst from Will, but I think Will has definitely the will to hold on to that burst. I think a lot of matches that we see played against Will, people try to burst bait him, but he doesn't give it at the at the most obvious spots whatsoever, using the far-range ice spike, which kind of went behind Spooky here, giving Spooky an opportunity to mix it up, spend the meter. We are still in it, and the close slash catches Will off the jump. What was the far slash as an anti-air? To anti-air the, the vault deal? Okay, we definitely take it. There is a chip damage warning, and as Will is exiting the corner, we get a far slash in there to tack the escape from Spooky. It'll be 1-0 for Spooky starting this set off. Yeah, that DC was relatively high actually for Will. It was in the second, the confident tier. Oh, but look at this. Look at what Will is getting for the next one. It's gonna be Ino, which I don't even have to look at the list to know that this is one of Will's best characters. Yeah, it is situated in the strong tier. Potemkin is the opponent here, being picked up by Spooky, which is also in the super high tier. So this is basically technically as high level as it gets between these two players. This is almost like a main character territory, I would say. Both top 2 match, yeah, exactly. The thing is, Will is really strong player overall. Like if we simply would consider Will's whatchamacallit, only Will's the characters that he plays very often. Like if the matchup was set like this, it would definitely be, I would bet money that Will is gonna take it like home very convincingly. But let's see what can happen here. Nice jump out of the reset into Garuda impact. Usually use your frame trap threat as a sort of a suggestion for the opponent to hold your Garuda, and if you can make them block that off a standard block string, that is very valuable. Oh, the slide actually goes under the Kinnickle. Interesting. Will working towards the corner, very low on life, but is a tried and true snowball character, and that kind of sort of game plan is very strong in Guilty Gear Strive. But you know what else is strong in Guilty Gear Strive? Having a ton of hit points, being able to take hits. Where did that note go? That note showed up the stratosphere, and as a result, Spooky got an opening to go for a kill with slight hit damage. Not just the unblockable hit, but actually just taking a round with that. That's been happening quite a bit recently. It at some point actually increase the damage of that. Anti-airing with the 5k, very interesting choice of buttons here. Out of the corner, gets punished. This is Potemkin that we're talking about though, so won't be taking too much damage through the wall. Or did we get the read? Yes, indeed, we're just sending the Potemkin Buster. The back jump from Will get hard red. And equalizing the life situation, basically. I think this is Potemkin actually with more life, even though the graphically it shows that, should be in the life lead. Because EHP is an interesting thing to calculate. Right, setting up nice deflect shield. Spooky's play actually kind of cracked today. This is if Spooky manages to steal this one, this would be a huge one. Actually does it with the jump D. Oh my goodness. I'm actually a little bit of I'm speechless here. This, in that particular character matchup, I would never rate Spooky to be the favorite to win whatsoever. That is actually big. Taking out one of Will's stronger characters. Okay. Will is gonna be Faust next, which is situated in, got so many characters in this game. Where is Faust? Great Fortune? that's a great tier name. Spooky is gonna get Soul. And Soul located in, where is that guy? Around the middle of the bunch. So I assume the Great Fortune tier still means that it's like okay-ish or fairly strong. So again, the players would be working with rather similar power levels here. But so far, the way this match has started off, like we've had twice the certain similar power level picks from both of the players, and Spooky taking both of those matches. That bodes extremely well for sort of the rest of the match. Throwing a lot of good items, especially those hammers. Oh my god, the telekinetic 2D classic from Blast from the Past, where that button used to do so much work for Mr. Bad Guy. Getting back thrown into the corner. Will also has Sun Meter to play with as well. Faust, of course, doesn't necessarily have like the best ways of spending that meter, and a lot of Faust players, like either out of necessity or just because it's kind of fun, tend to use the item super a lot as well. Let's see what Will is gonna do with that. That sort of, whatchamacallit, disposable income. Okay, not going for the full item throw. That's actually kind of cool. So using the first item throw super to sort of invite Spooky in, seeing that there were no like huge immediate obstructions, Will goes for another quick item throw super and getting a lucky hammer from there. Faust does throw a lot of items in succession if you do go for that super, so there is like an okay chance to get something that actually anti-airs your opponent out of the sky, such as the hammer. Oh, I think this might actually hit. Yeah, extending that 2p. HurtBox coming a little bit forward. Now Little Guy activates as well, giving Will more time to throw some items. Can we install the acro? Yes, indeed. This makes the opponent's HurtBox a little taller than what you would expect, making you sort of a sitting duck in terms of like where the opponent can hit you. And especially Faust normals, especially the air normals, have a lot of good applications for how to take advantage of that. Goes for a gold burst here, and immediately counter burst from Spooky. Jump 2k out of the corner, however, a perfect distance. Look at that. He just stands there and taps them with that close slash on the landing frames, basically. That's really surprising to me, because like jump 2k from Faust is not by any means like a bad hitbox whatsoever. It tends to tag you quite often, in fact. Now utilizing the little guys that we got from the tutor. And then the back throw from Will. Hammer holding Soul in place. Both players spending the meter. Ooh, a little bit of a makeshift combo into the hammer. That's a lot of hammers. Another hammer. Oh my god, we got good stuff. We got the stuff here. Mixing up. We gotta avoid the hot potato. Ooh, this is dangerous. The Avatar from Will ends up self-exploding, giving a huge combo for Spooky. Drops the combo in the middle. We got the YRC as well, but now both players are kind of dry on those resources, and Will again getting caught there. Basically 0 hit point victory. Another one for Spooky. Are you kidding me? Has something happened in the meanwhile, while we haven't seen Spooky for a little while? Because this is some unexpectedly strong performance. Okay, I'm getting kind of hyped here. Is Spooky just gonna sort of steal this thing off? I mean, it is understandable that this is a very sudden appearance for Will. Maybe they just didn't have the time to prep the random select, because it was like a couple of hours before the event actually went online that Will knew that they are gonna be playing this. It's basically like okay, there's a huge chance that Spooky's opponent is not gonna show up, so Will was like, all right, put me in, coach. We're gonna go in there, do the random select, and we're gonna roll with it. And of course, huge hand to just about anybody who's willing to do that. Entering a competitive match on a short notice, very hard thing to do. Okay, so Giovanna for Will, kind of in the middle-ish, and Leo for Spooky is much higher for sure. So this is certainly a little dangerous looking for Will. All of those matches earlier where the power levels supposedly relatively equal have been, like, all those 3 matches have been taken by Spooky, and now when Spooky actually has a power level advantage, does Will stand any chance here? So far, the Giovanna getting mauled by the Lion. Both players are completely loaded. There's a super unleashed. We could RC this. This could be close to a kill, especially since Will doesn't have the full bull burst ready to go. Ooh, but returning with a reversal super. Can we make the comeback? Sending it, but Will did not press the button, so has time to FD in the air. Let's see the combos in the spiral arrow. Does miss the pickup, unfortunately, but now advantage definitely on Will's side in any, like, all other accounts other than screen position. But hey, Meter resources are there to buy more real estate. Am I right? Will using the burst and then the meter push Spooky back and take the round. Next timing then on the throw. Nothing personal, kid, just hopping over with the classic instant air dash, finding a counter hit into a really nice Oki setup. Hard knockdown. Well, the spiral arrow meteors are not quite hitting correct. Whoa, 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 that was very interesting looking. I think the super high active frames of Giovanna's far slash and the sliding forward momentum kind of made a funky thing happen there with the Leo's back turn D. And how Spooky has so much of that juice to spend. Just micro dash forward, back turn S, the classic play footsies baby kind of a button. Could even just send weapon X here and does so. I knew it. As soon as I saw the amount of meter, I was like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it, isn't he? Isn't he? And he definitely does it. That is certainly one way to get a guaranteed block string going on. And spending that 100 isn't that bad of an investment if your opponent is already gonna die on one hit. You're not gonna need it for your Oki. You're not gonna need it for your combo either. And another weapon X. It's right where it hurts. Life situation equalized. The far slash from Will ends up momentarily whiffing. Good 6B. Oh, good 6B reaction to the spiral arrow as well. That is basically textbook. The most consistent reaction option that you can pull off if Giovanna is in fact going for the spiral arrow, but Will ends up stealing it in the end. That is good. We are now on board. For a moment, that was looking really dangerous. Going like 0-0 on an FT7 to start off definitely does not feel good. So will rock Biken on the next one. Biken is in the basic, very basic combos tier there. Ooh, Slayer. This is another one that I don't have to check. This should be relatively high. In fact, it is the top 1 pick currently for Spooky. So another really tough match ahead. For, like, if you are HiWill in this situation. So this is not necessarily like, there are a lot of factors going into this. Now, we basically random a weak character for Will in terms of his own power tiers. If you look at it like this, Spooky could have maybe taken this match with a weaker character as well, so you could kind of look, sort of appraise this situation as maybe there is too much, maybe the good stuff is going into beating something that I could have already beaten with a different character, so not necessarily the best stroke of luck, I guess, but it depends on your point of view, of course. Oh, the too heavy, catching, what was that? I think far slash looked like from Will, which is unfortunately a little too far in that extended stage shift kind of situation. Not really a normal round start, but a sort of extended round start whenever you break a wall. Because you're not quite at the same distance as, oh, slides into the 5D again. Let's try it. Drops it again. I wonder if we do have the same RPS options afterwards. Goes for the too heavy, and you bet your ass that's gonna be quick lights out in exactly the kind of fashion that we would expect from this character Slayer. Yeah, I mean, you knew it was gonna be brutal. You knew it was gonna be kind of brutal. Playing against a Slayer player who is sort of like seemingly above your skill level is one of the most dreadful things, at least personally for me, in the game. So Soul is the pick for Will, that is in the lower basics category, and Unica is the choice for Spooky. If I recall correctly, Spooky has played some Unica, and I think I would be right saying that, for it is in the middle of the road tier there. Once again, Spooky has the power level advantage going into this. And oh boy, we're starting to run out of opportunities to like get some sort of value as like if we're Will here, we're kind of praying that we would get a quotations good matchup in terms of like, you know, getting a good character for yourself and maybe getting the opponent to roll something slightly weaker. Ooh, catching them with that 5 heavy there, even without a counter hit, that's pretty good. Third time's the charm, trying to dunk over the laser of Unicus. That laser is such a good fireball. All the reach so far going in Spooky's favor. Lucky for Will though, a lot of those hits are not super decisive. Maybe this would be the most decisive hit that we've had this round. It goes for a really nice routing there. That was for like decently pro-rated starter as well. But it doesn't really matter at this point when you actually put your opponent at a checkmate position. Goes for the FRC, finds the high, but doesn't quite get the combo, which is this kind of thing would be kind of common if you are playing a random select challenge. You are playing a character that you don't necessarily play on a regular basis, so you're trying to summon those like those baby conversions, those stable conversions from your muscle memory if possible, or alternatively try to compose some of your own from what you've seen in the past. I mean, a lot of you know fundamentals sort of apply to all of the characters in the game. This character is maybe the most homogeneous Guilty Gear game so far, so you can utilize fundamentals that you've gained from other characters. Oh, we're just gambling here. The Spooky press a button, no, and takes a simple and safe way out and just jumps instead of trying to get like a big punish. The heavy mob cemetery from Sol is kind of a tricky thing to punish because it moves forward so fast. So if you jump over it, you kind of have to have some sort of a plan, either slowing down the opponent's frames or stuff like that if you want to catch it. But now Will should get this kill here, putting him in a 2-4 position. Not too bad. This was probably like super important game for Will to score, because there is only so much time left to kind of get yourself warmed up. And with this, Will has potentially purchased himself a little bit of time to adjust to what is going on. But will Zato be the character that you can make the adjustments with, or rather take advantage of the adjustments? Where is Will Zato, by the way? It is not in the bottom tier. Lucifer Spooky. Oh, it's in the mid tier. So okay, surprisingly high actually. Zato being one of the most tricky, like one of the more tricky characters to play in this game. I think this would probably be the first occasion in this set where Will gets an advantage, because like Lucifer Spooky is rather low on the tier list actually.
Duel 1.
Alright, now or never. Go for it. Heaven or hell. Time to rack those points. Using the jump D for a little bit of a counter hit. Getting a summon there. Oh, but the 2K does poke the puppet. It's kind of hard to work in tandem with your puppet. If you are not like a Zato main, you have to keep your, like, the most annoying thing as Zato is like thinking you are in a winning position, summoning your puppet, or thinking you have the advantage, summoning your puppet, and then just getting it mashed with like 2P or 2K from the opponent, and you're like, oh well shit. I didn't play perfectly and I got completely dumpstered for it. Although I gotta say, Zato has been showing up pretty often in these randoms. What was that counter poke? Who extended into what? With what? Was that too heavy from? No, that was like 2S from Lucy. Yeah, we got the footsies buttons for sure. Slash working as an anti-air here, and with the basic sequence, trying to charge the monowire as much as possible. But I think the monowire, one of the biggest problems for it is that it doesn't reach like very high up in the air. It's very easy to jump out of if it comes out of pressure, and shows its weakness in that wall break sequence as well. Trying to anti with the far slash, goes for a 2S afterwards. Another nail biter here. This this still ends up mattering. Now it's an opportunity for Will to start evening up the score. Or once again for Spooky to run away with the lead. No puppet available for this pressure sequence. Plus 10 from that wire C and catching the opponent. You got the unsummon there at the very end as well. Accelerating the puppet gauge, sending the Piers too far away though. Pokes into a post, no worries. The opponent wasn't ready to press a button that time. Spooky has to be really careful here. Basically no health to spend, can't trade, cannot trade anymore, and Will reaches with the big shadow hand 2S, one of the most comfy buttons of choice for Zato players. I would definitely press that button in that situation as well. Okay, Will starting to slowly make a comeback. A gold Lewis is what Will is going to be working with on the next one. And that gold Lewis, where's that gold Lewis? That is... It's kind of low on the tiers. Giovanna, on the other hand, is what Spooky has acquired and is one of Spooky's top picks. Wow, this has been kind of a... After the opening matches where the power level was kind of equal, Spooky has definitely had the better draw of the luck here. But that is sort of the name of the game for this kind of matches. Random select, the random select challenge is quite chaotic. Even if Spooky manages to take this, Will still has some time to make up for it afterward. Let's see how it goes though. Oh, still frame trap into the heavy button immediate right off the bat, prompting Spooky to spend the burst. That's a lot of damage per single hit. That's like three occasions where Will managed to get like single hit in, and that has basically emptied 2/3 of Spooky's life bar so far. But now, let's see if the Empress does strike back. It is actually Will who ends up striking back with a reversal super, and then with a slightly delayed meaty behemoth. One of those ones that has really good horizontal reach, able to make the opponent not press anything there on the wake-up situation. Nice backdash there, using that 6-frame invulnerable big body backdash. A little bit slower than some of the others, but the amount of active frames on your, rather the invul frames on that backdash, certainly a good feature if you're trying to escape stuff that is expected to be very active, such as close slashes. Striking back to the drone doing a little bit of work here, holding down the corner. Ooh, nice jump back, jump heavy. Trying to be as defensive as possible. Oh no, being a little too high there when the trigger is pulled on that super. So the up dog, or is that a down dog actually? If the dog kick is the up dog, that's certainly a down dog if I've ever seen one. Again, the huge wall of hitbox there using, what is that button? 5 heavy? 2 heavy? I think it's 5 heavy, right? Still not able to get the get the game here. Yeah, Gold Lewis is a little slower than Giovanna. Even with the buffer step dash, Giovanna tends to have like way faster startups on a lot of things. And going for like a lower spin, what should we call it? Lower spin Behemoth Typhoon, so didn't have the anti-air properties activating very early there. Getting instant air dashed in. Oh, I think this hits, because you are in your air dash, and I think I saw a button as well from Spooky. Ooh, just barely whipping with that Behemoth Typhoon close slash starter. Gatlings into a 2 heavy, which is too far away to reach. Deflect shield does a little bit of work, pushing Spooky back into the corner. And then the air-to-air exchange there with the fast jump case. Spooky takes it and breaks out of the situation that was looking like it's gonna develop into a tie for a moment. But no, we ain't gonna have tie this time, says Spooky. All right, what does the luck say? What does Lady Luck bring Will? It's gonna be Anji. And Anji sits at... Oh, this is actually a lore matchup. Where is Anji for a Will? Oh, it's at the very bottom. And Baiken, the Japanese counterpart, picked by Spooky this time around, is once again a little higher there. But I mean, if you sort of try to, if you're trying to check out where the characters are kind of situated in these players' tier lists, you can see that there is much more of a an upward trend for Spooky on those characters that he feels like he is comfortable piloting, whereas Will has way more characters on the lower end of the tier, signaling not as much confidence as, you know, compared to some of the higher pick characters. Dancing into RC. Oh, interesting. Just a 5P to check it after the frame advantage. Players trying to poke. Will trying to get out of this corner situation. The Kabari again, the RC to make sure that you are not at least punishable. Usually when you purple RC after like a touch on that Suigetsu no Hakobi, you aren't in a plus frame situation, and in fact a lot of characters that don't have DPs just can't say much about that. Wait, did the far slash ends up actually whipping? And then dances straight into the throw. Good patience and good read there for Spooky, waiting for the spin to go online. I think that was a long spin as well, giving you some extra time to actually confirm that it is spin that is coming, so I can just dash into the throw if you really want to be safe and don't want to risk it with the timing of your strike. Goes through the basic frame trap string, spending the meter to keep the pressure going. Will says, nah, get me out of here. There was a 2K. So now Will buying a lot of real estate. However, getting back thrown. What was that jump D? Doing some shenanigans in the air. Both characters, of course, have access to that jump D that can stall your momentum in the air. Although Anji, I would say, is the sort of the stronger candidate for using that. The jump D tends to be like a horizontal kind of tool for contending. Oh, we get the S Kabari hit on to the parry, and that's actually going to be enough for Will. Once again, one round for both players. Starting with the TK Yozan, ends up hitting, what was that, 5 hitting from Will? Ah, the TK Yozan unfortunately turns into a TK jump slash. The saddest sight if your team mix-up. Can we do it again? This time, the TK Yozan coming up cleanly, but then the follow-up combo a little shaky here. Able to end it this time around, Will with a lot of meter, but Spooky is gonna have that same quotations problem soon. The too heavy ends up missing. Able to go into the throw as Spooky solidifies the huge lead. Moving on to potentially the last sets, or rather last games of the set here. Will is basically at this point praying for something good. Axel, is that good? Is that good? I don't think that's super good. Doesn't look super good. It's in one of the bottom tiers. And again, look at this, Asuka. I think this was, yep, again, one of Spooky's top picks. I think this might be some of the biggest contrast out of all the random select challenges that we've played on Bounty Hunters. Spooky is absolutely on fire with these picks, and now Will pushed against the wall with a character that is not very confident with, against one of the most confident characters from Spooky. This could potentially be the last match.
Duel 1.
But I think Axel is actually a good pick against Asuka though. These are two like very non-standard kind of characters. Asuka especially. Ooh, we get the bait here on the jump in. And now Will Able to get a close slash, but not able to procure the sort of the real estate that we were hoping for. Instead, getting broken through the wall by Spooky. All right, we got Signs of Life here. Both players with a lot of juice to spend. Able to get a far slash in there. If something, Axel does have pretty good buttons for these like far mid-range and sort of max range exchanges. Spooky though, showing confidence in the character. Set point Spooky, the first one of the set. Deflect shield. Just by a little bit more time to potentially play neutral. The 5B anti-air into basic Rensen conversion. Decent standard hand at the moment for Spooky. 2 Screamers and cubes. However, the cubes are a little bit too slow using the... what's the fastest cube? Is it the blue one? I do know that the green cube is not one of the fastest by any measures. Yeah, I think it's the blue is the fastest one, right? And then the yellow is the... Is the yellow the slowest one? Able to get a knockdown here. We are working with some Screamers, so we do have potential for pressure and or mid-range denial. Jumping over there. Over the pokes from HiWill. Looking dangerous. Back throw is gonna be enough. We're still somehow alive here. We absolutely have to get this round to keep the show going. Right, only Screamers in hand for this offensive situation. I think the Scepter that Spooky is holding onto at the moment is not very useful. So is the buff spell. Would love to cast maybe both of those. Oh, okay. Just straight up wall break. And not wasting time casting any spells or recharging any spells. Trying to end it right here, right now, but HiWill get to build a little bit of distance between the two characters. This would be a good chance to strike. There is only so much mana left from the wizard. Able to break the recharge charge. Mana shield is gone as well. Any hit is good. Chip damage inbound. That's why the Spooky goes for a deflect shield, which unfortunately cannot push the zoner far enough away. Will survives to fight another day in a matchup that was probably as bad as possible, or like as it could be from the viewpoint of the characters that were randomed into. But will that luck carry on? Jacko next for Will. Another kind of tricky character. Where is that located? It's again in the very, very low tier. Whereas Spooky is gonna get Axel. Don't tell me that's high up in the list. Of course it's high on the list. It's in the second highest tier. So once again, the same conundrum. This is super tricky as well, because like, you just random into a super technical character as Will, and then a matchup that is also like not very standard at all. So like how well can you expect to play this? Spooky starts with the 5B anti-air. Ooh, and the orange wireless ends up accidentally anti-airing as well. Because like, if you look at these two characters, who do you think is ready to play the neutral immediately right off the gates? It is usually going to be Axel, because you are basically zoning with your far range pokes. Whereas on the Jacko side, you have to be a little, like, you have to invest a little bit more on the neutral. Like, sure, once you are able to shoot those minions forward, they are absolutely gonna dominate a lot of like fireball wars and are kind of hard to contest for a lot of the cast. But can you get those minions online? Does Will even have the input in the muscle memory to put the minions online? So far, it actually kind of looks like we're just playing the single body Jacko. Rushdown Jacko, if you will. Oh, we got some minions. Wall break, positive bonus, going immediately into the rainwater. Good jump out of the command grab. That would have probably ended the set right there. I mean, Will is working with the blue burst, which he does have to spend here. Look at that, Rygand just plowing through the minion toss. Wasn't actually sure about the interactions between those things. Ooh, that's a value instant air dash. That's a dangerous instant air dash as well, because there's a lot of buttons from Axel that could catch you straight on the round start. Set point Spooky still. So Will not only needs this round, but also a couple of subsequent games if they still want to bring it home. But it ended up being way more even than initially broadcasted there, based on the 3 first games. Catching the jump with the 5B, such an excellent button to just pass. You can actually get pretty far as Axel by just pressing your P buttons, either the 5B, which ends up being the sort of the anti-air, limiting the access to the higher end of the screen for your opponent, and then the 2B, which is basically a fireball function, basically an impossible button to get through unless you go airborne. Ooh, the reversal super hits. Will pushed back against the corner metaphorically. Oh, and the rainwater is gonna save the day for Spooky and not allow HiWill to do any sort of shenanigans and run it back. Okay, that's definitely good karma there. Cashed in by Spooky on those picks. But also, I want to say it's not just that. I don't want to say that it's just like draw of the luck that got Spooky the set. Think about the start of the set. We had some really crazy like underdog wins that I thought HiWill was just gonna win for free, being taken by Spooky. This may have been one of the best performances ever that I have seen from Spooky. So super solid looking set here. All right, moving on, we got one of the top seed matches coming up next. Rygand with that newest sub character Leo is gonna face Froyo tonight. All right, so Froyo certainly has a little bit of a streak for eliminating Finnish players as of recent. I think one of the latest victims was Puuro, wasn't it? And now next to the chopping block will be Rygand. Oh yeah, I actually forgot to turn on the the rematch. There we go. That was actually perfect timing. Just before they hit the go button, I was able to get it back to rematch lobby. So no interruptions will happen between the set here as two titans of sort. I mean, Rygand is definitely a titan in terms of player skill, especially on their higher higher ranked characters. Rygand is one of the top European May players. But now the power level is scaled back a little bit, going in with a sub character. However, this is still expected to be fairly high level matching, because like Froyo definitely not a weak player. We are talking about Vanquisher rank players here. With the double pink, let's see how it's gonna go. Two characters that are not necessarily known for the best neutral out there. Leo perhaps one of the strongest characters when you do actually get close and personal with the opponent, especially when you have your back turned on the opponent, can basically run unseeable high-low mix-ups and maybe mixing some throws in there occasionally as well. Ooh, but look at that! I was about to say, not the strongest neutral for these characters, but those far slashes and especially those 5 heavies that Rygand was just able to catch Froyo with. If you're absolutely goated, you can sometimes find like really good pokes into huge combos from even neutral situations. With the stance cancel there, making the, look at it, 5 heavy once again. Rygand is basically like 2 out of 2 for getting big counter hits from those heavy buttons. And I guess it works for a matchup such as, you know, versus Ino, where Ino, not necessarily a character who's gonna be, whatchamacallit, definitely not anything like a Kai or a Sin or anything like that, who, like a character who has good long range that is just gonna contain you in that perfect poking distance. Ooh, but nice 6p there. Realizing that Rygand tried to escape the corner using that jump D, the little helicopter move. Catching him on the way out. Burst before we hit the corner. However, Froyo bounces forward fast. The chemical lava in the air ends up whiffing. The second one landing. Ooh, we're kind of a zoning there. Especially with the new changes to Ino's kit, where you can control the sort of the trajectory and the momentum of, or the steering, I guess, of Chemical Love, you do have some increased power potential for this character. Not just in mix-up situations and combos, but also at neutral to a certain extent. And I guess improvements like that are absolutely valuable to a character who just, you know, kind of just wants to hit the opponent once at neutral, and after that just never return back to neutral ever again, so that you don't have to take these commitments that you are forced to do as Ino. After the initial hit, you would like to have the opponent knocked down and just forced to take like Noth empowered, safe, high-low strike throws. Maybe even left-rights. I guess, you know, not as much about left-right as she was in the past. Ooh, look at the double shield! That's a very reminiscent of how Leo used to be played in Exerd. But still a classic of sorts. Oh, we go into the back turn heavy, sending the unseeable overhead into big counter hit and lights out. Sending 2D at round start. However, Froyo was in the air, so that 2D ends up probably being not too punishable. In fact, might have been plus for Leo's side there. Yeah, this is the kind of situation that you would like to put the opponent in as often as possible on these Blender characters. Lying down on the floor, face down, taking some music in the ears as they're getting up. It's probably sort of debating what are we gonna do here. Didn't quite get the break with the super, which probably could have taken the kill, but sweeping the floor with that stroke the victory, able to find the hit. Both players going into the last round here with full burst gauge available. These are Orange Wild Assault users, meaning if you do spend that burst on Wild Assault, it's gonna be kind of in the modern patches, it's gonna be like combo extension tool. Speaking of which, here we see what we can do on Ino's side. There was probably some sort of a combo drop there. Usually the Orange Wild Assault does give you full screen corner carry for most starters on the Ino side. Let's see if it ends up mattering. Sending the weapon X. That's a kind of a goated response against potential dive coming in from Froyo. Maybe with the wall break. Again, Froyo was dashing forward, getting hit airborne, so that 2D is not punishable whatsoever. Waiting for the burst never comes, the burst absolutely never comes. But you have to ask yourself, if you are Froyo in that situation, how confident are you going into that burst after seeing the RC bait from Rygand's side? And in fact, I don't think there are right or wrong answers. It's kind of like Are you gonna expect the hard bait? Do you think that they're just gonna straight up drop their combos and not do anything? Or are they just gonna follow through?
Duel 1.
Alright, from a 1-1 situation, starting with the glimpses of Radoon. I've heard Rygand saying stuff like, yo, I learned a lot of my stuff from Mr. Radoon. And so far there have been some similarities. Ooh, plus frames, but opting to not actually press any buttons. Was probably expecting Froyo to go for a reversal super potentially from those plus frames. Now we have a lot of juice to work with on Rygand's side if we can manage to get up. Getting mixed up on the low. And a super to knock Rygand down. We have 100, so Weapon X into PRC is one of the most common options to play here. Rygand in fact takes it. But the downside is, even though you can basically guarantee your way out of, or actually get yourself back in the game and wake up, in the follow-up situation, you have to wait for quite a long while to be able to build any extra meter after that. And you can see here, like this, the moment when Rygand got killed, that's when he was able to build the first stick of butter after spending the 100. Oh, interesting, didn't quite get the cross up there, even in the corner. The Berserker Slash has some range limitations where you have to be relatively close to make it pass to the other side. Ooh, going under here. Froyo, this time. We got the combo routing on point, the jump PP at the end, and a nice super. Probably knew that 2 jump Ps is gonna be enough to get the wall stick here. If you're just mashing jump PP, you might actually miss the buffer window there on the stick. Looking good for Froyo. Rygand 100 once again. Oh, this time goes for a SDP instead, saving the meter for when we've knocked the opponent down. There are like, this is another, ooh, that's a great reaction there. They do say that Stroke the Big Tree is reactable with DPs or supers, if you will, if you're absolutely cracked. Plus frames once again after canceling. And now the jungle drums. Froyo forced to use the burst, but this is a gamble. If Rygand sends the Weapon X, can we get a punish? Froyo does have the timing there, the poke between the hits. That might have not even been necessary, but Froyo's like, okay, I need only 1 touch, so let's get it right here. Don't even have to look at the opponent's burst, the tension gauge. I mean, if Rygand did have it, then of course you could RC after the first hit immediately, but if you let it rock and kind of see what happens, you do put yourself in harm's way to potentially get poked in between the hits. Great presence of mind from Froyo once again, not letting the Berserker Slash go through. Finding the hit first with the Stroke the Big Tree and then into a low. This looks good. Rygand is building a lot of resources though in terms of tension. Getting mixed up by a low again. The low has been hitting fairly well for Froyo, but it does make sense that you would usually block high a little bit more often than low. Sort of examining the reward differences between those hits. Generally, you tend to score a little bit more damage from the overheads, I think. Used to be the case, and I think it's still the case in the modern game. Break from Froyo, and then from coast to coast, here comes the Wild Assault conversion. Can take the wall break and forces it as well. Just 1 hit, like 1 meter away from getting the super as well. Forcing the pressure here. Rygand tried to go for a 5P to prevent shenanigans happening after the dive, but if the opponent goes for the RC burn, able to find the far slash hit here. This could be, which side are we on? Oh, micro dash back turn into D, expecting the opponent to be pressing button. That's really ballsy kind of stuff. Okay, no more jump D on wake up. Rygand backing off to a perfect distance, tries to go for a throw, but Froyo wakes up with a command grab. I think this should be close enough to get a kill. Yes, indeed, just barely. Even on a good defensive character like Leo. That's kind of a steal. I'm still a little bit on the edge. Like I always forget to check if the command grab super is actually a true reversal or not. Generally, it is the other super that you use as Ino when trying to wake up. It is not. Yeah, that's kind of like the general vibe that I have. So it's kind of a way for you to mix up with your, like, when you have the 50 meter, you're, of course, the first layer is that the opponent is going to be expecting that reversal super. But if that's not coming, then you would have to delay your media a little bit, allowing you to get the reversal, the command grab super out. And even if the command grab itself does not hit, it does put Ino in an invulnerable state after the fact. So it's kind of a tricky tool to deal with. 100 meter for Froyo here. Surely we're gonna go into the super, break the wall, and that'll be that. Froyo with a lot of momentum here. Even if not the more, the more experienced character, much more experienced on, sorry, not the more experienced player, but certainly more experienced with her main character here. Now Rygand, nice delay between the /5 heavy strings there. Able to find a frame trap, catching Froyo pressing buttons into a counter hit, and now sending the 2D. I swear, every single time Rygand goes for the neutral 2D, it's when Froyo is dashing forward. Maybe that's kind of the point here, because like the 2D from Leo does hit kind of high, so it is potentially checking those float dashes even from further away. The burst has been used here. Rygand tries to end it on this round, but using the burst on this high level threshold will, like, even if you don't get the round, it kind of allows your burst to return fairly soon after the... Oh, never mind. We're actually on the last round here. No, never mind. There are absolutely no speculations. You kind of have to spend it sooner or later. And I think this reversal super is going to be enough. Froyo. The momentum keeps going. The Team Ino looking strong here. What can we do? Finding those openings at neutral often enough to be able to put Rygand in really uncomfortable wake-up situations, even though Leo is one of the most sort of diverse characters as far as his wake-up options go. You have good reversal super that reaches far. You have one of the best 9-framers in the game, speaking of which. And a lot of, other decent close-range buttons. Froyo has still been able to... Ooh, nice wake-up backdash there. Able to avoid getting punished. This time Rygand not able to inch that back turn. Micro dash in. And exploding with the red wild assault. Froyo breaking the wall. Able to break from that dash as well. Rygand this time breaking the Weapon X a little earlier so that there is no poking in between. Froyo has the resource advantage. Ooh, the jump slash actually ends up hitting behind into perfect direction. Was able to get an auto correction there as well. Was looking for a while that Rygand might have swing and miss to wrong direction with that jump slash, but oh, the classic RPS. If you're not in a position to true punish me, then you're contending with my SDP. Right, jump D. Able to ground Rygand safely in front of Froyo, and then into a nice BMB conversion. This is more than a BMB. Close slash starter. Too bad the wall ends up giving up a little too early. Rygand still procuring a lot of damage here. Now, a single sonic boom could be what ends this. There we go. Finding the hit and not letting Froyo run away with too much of a lead. But there is so much more work to be done still for Rygand if he wants to bring this back concisely.
Mankind knew that
A small breather here, trying to remember what things worked and what things didn't. S-boom into a heavy boom that takes all of the real estate away from Froyo. However, from the back jump, Froyo able to get a hit in. The burst is inbound here, yeah, getting locked out. Ooh, goes under the sonic boom there. It's an interesting kind of feature. It does look like the graphic of the Leo Fireball wouldn't allow you to go under, but the hitbox is actually shifted a little higher off the ground than you would think compared to the visual. So Stroke to Victory is a tool that definitely can go under if timed correctly. Bar Slaps ends up whiffing, sending a 5 heavy, grounds Froyo momentarily from a far distance. Chemical Love once again being one of the MVP tools for poking at Leo from a distance where Leo basically has no immediate super good tools to poke with. Yeah, exactly this distance. We can do so many different things from this distance. You could go Chemical Love, you could try to dive under with Stroke the Big Tree. You could even from that kind of distance try to build a little bit of distance and throw a note, or just check if they're awake and just press the note and get some advantage. Any hit is good. Rygand trying to rely on that S-boom, which is a super good tool in this situation. If you block, oh nice, the step forward, sees the aerial option from Froyo coming and queues up the 6P. Ooh, that's a very competitive option right off the bat. Goes over the fireball. Both players trying to utilize the Abare options. Safe jump is on point. This is one of the most important features that you want to have against strong TP characters such as Leo or Sin or Sol. Ooh, nice from the RC. First the cross up, then the overhead. The low is blocked successfully, but you have to block so many mix-ups potentially. Like we said, you can't really react to that back turn heavy, so if Leo is doing stagger 5Ks, all of those can potentially lead straight into you having to block high. Reversal super does get Froyo out of that throw mix-up. Strike throw. Doesn't matter which one of those options it's gonna be. The reversal super is gonna beat both and force your opponent to go for a bait option instead if they want to beat it. Look at the spacing once again. The dash jump forward into a late air dash, finding Rygand, the fish that it was looking for, and now potentially looking for one more hit. Oh no, the too heavy! The too heavy doesn't come out. I wonder if that was a flash kick meant to happen there. Steals the corner, gets the cross up. Look at this stagger pressure. This is one of the nastiest things that Leo can run on you. The best option, like if you have built a little bit of distance between yourself and the lion, you can try to disengage, but from a very close distance, it's really tricky. You would have to gamble it and try to challenge between those hits. It looks like Rygand has been able to find another great round, putting me ever so closely to Froyo. It's looking a little dangerous there on the opening rounds, but now looking like Rygand is slowly starting to warm up and potentially adjust to the pace from the opponent. That is one of the good features of formats such as FT7. You have much more time to try to feel out what the opponent is doing and maybe even devise a game plan against things that you don't necessarily know an immediate answer to, which is super important, especially if you're playing a character that is not familiar to you, such as is case with Rygand here on Leo. Oh, can we convert that? Yes, we can. From a counter, we go into a close slash pickup. Put Froyo in the corner. Oh my god. From the minus frames, DPing once again with the the Sonic S flash kick. And that's a super dominant round for Rygand. Starting to feel more comfortable with those reads. I feel at the start of the set, Rygand was trying to run those gambles, but none of those seemed to hit when they meant them, like when they were the most important. Oh gosh, but I throw a little too early. Ooh, that's a thick throw. However, that time Rygand was still in hit stun, so didn't get grabbed by the super. Interesting turn of events. Now Rygand having the knockdown. Both players still have to wait. Oh, that was not meaty. That was a ballsy throw from Froyo, because you can play that Berserker Slash as a meaty from the hard knockdown wall break situation. It's just that Rygand either missed the meaty timing or specifically left a frame for Froyo to try to press in between. And once again, able to go for that throw, which is ever so important counterplay against many of Leo's moves. Not just the Berserker Slash, but the artist formerly known as Rekka 1, as well as 6K. Some of those have really good counterplay if you have your throws on point. This one goes for Froyo though. Once again, 2 games is the amount of buffer between these two gamers, as we're slowly inching towards the finale.
Duel 1.
Although if Rygand manages to seize the momentum here, the final is gonna be still a couple of games away for sure. Finding a BMB conversion here, dropping in that corner, we got the cross-up. Ooh, but the second conversion after the cross-up was kind of looking like Rygand was sliding past with that 5K, but it ended up still hitting on the right side. Now speaking of that right side, how can we work with this? 2S, one of the classic neutral good buttons for Ino to press. We got that, we got 2 heavy, we got 5 heavy, we got a lot of really interesting buttons for a character that is not necessarily the most neutral oriented, but can be used as counter pokes. Speaking of that again, 2S, my old friend, holding down the neutral at that mid spacing. Oh, got it with the second one! That is such a classic move. Ever since Xrd released this or introduced this character, Leo Whitefang, the back turn D into another back turn D has been one of the staples of Leo players. Because like what you're reacting to is the back turn D getting whiffed. If you try to press a button afterwards, and if you are late with that, you will get caught in the second one more often than not. But now Froyo has been able to find a really nice wall break here, and we have resources for so many different things here. Send the air super, 100 on Rygand's account, can't wake up. Utilizing the fear though, here Rygand ended up just working with non-metered aggressive options instead. That's kind of the next layer when you know the opponent is going to be afraid of your wake-up options. You can instead try to escape or just straight up press buttons. Fighting Games 101. Get a cross up and another one into the 5K. That has been one of the most successfully working sequences that Rygand has been working with. Tap them with a 5D. Pure fundamentals works as basically any character. Ooh, no punish there on the Rekka 1. I think it should be minus enough to get a 5-framer there at least. Now it's Froyo's time to work with the combo. Drop the opponent in the corner. Almost 75 to work with as well. Canceling the stance here, going for the throw. That is one of the layers for sure. I mean, the layer 1 is usually you're trying to guess between the 5K, the standing K, the standing low, and the back turn heavy, which is the unseeable overhead. But there is also this third option, or rather third most common option, that you disable your stance and go for the throw. And the reason why you would have to disable the stance is Leo can't actually throw in that stance. You can go for the command grab, but it's very slow startup, so if you want to gain access to your like strike throw options, you would have to disable the stance and then manually go for the throw input. Okay, so sharp for Froyo here. Catching Rygand with the low once again. Oh, the beloved lows. How do they work so well? Subverting the expectations of fighting game players since before year 2000. Alright, this wall break will bring Froyo basically at full blue burst distance. Rygand is the one who ends up using the burst first. Available still for Froyo. Ooh, the jump slash unfortunately does not hit low enough for Froyo. Has chosen the right tool for the job. Goes for the 6-speed, utilizing the upper invulnerability frames. And nullifies basically any non-deep hitting jump in. And I mean, Leo doesn't necessarily have any of those super deep jump ins. Jump K is good horizontally and decent like vertically. But nothing like Baiken's or Ram's jump heavy or any of the sort. Through the wall we go. One more mix up to bring yourself to 6. Rygand is in a tough spot, sees the DP come out, and the close slash deals enough damage so that Rygand does not have any opportunity to burst. Even if you were trying to buffer it, it does not come out. Froyo can see the goal, can see the finish line, but can she pass it before Rygand activates his Ultra Instinct here?
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, that was a clean whiff punish here for Rygand. Yeah, we were talking about that too heavy that Froyo poked with a couple of times here at the start of this round. Ooh, tried to go for it again. That was a good idea, but like I said, your timing has to be on point. It is punishable. Like if whiffs that, it is definitely whiff punishable, but you have to be absolutely on point, especially on a character that doesn't really play the neutral for you as Leo. So you have to be in the right spot to press your buttons, so to say. Good check there, 5B. Poking Froyo out of the air, but not able to exit the corner. Froyo has so many resources here. Here comes the break. And now both players with a 50 tension. What can we do? Again, the low! The empty low has been the bane of Rygand's existence. Another mix-up that is impossible to see. Of course, we've been talking about Mr. Whitefang's back turn heavy, but this character, never forget that she has the kind of absurd high-low mix-ups from that float dash that you've never seen in fighting games before. Cross slash pressure. Froyo smartly holding onto the FD, but that makes her unable to react to the Berserker slash. But now stealing that corner, allowing Froyo to burst Rygand into the corner. It does get you the hit, but it forfeits your position. Finds the overhead this time. Oh my god, the overhead that ended it. After a long string, arduous marathon of just empty lows, it feels like that was one of the first overheads that Froyo played, and that was the one that sunk in. Wow. Sets like this want you to, kind of makes me want to do a case study on the options that the players picked. I feel like it was just lows all the way through for Froyo's Oki. And then the decisive nail in the coffin from that jump slash, or is that jump heavy? Either way, Froyo takes up another Finnish superstar. But Rygand also getting ever better with that Leo pick week after week. And what is it? It's like week 3, week 4, 3, 4, something like that for Rygand. So this is a very new character. Always have to keep in mind. And as time goes by, as time passes, if the top players keep rolling with that high tier pick, it will get dangerously strong eventually. So keep an eye out if Rygand wants to keep up with that Leo. Next up, so we're gonna have our mini sequence here coming up next matches, consisting of, I think 3 out of 4 players for the next 2 matchup slots are gonna be new faces on Bounty Hunter. First one of which is gonna be ArpOxx versus Yappie. So Giovanna versus Testament. Another classic matchup where the archetypes are very set in stone. We have the zoning character, the keep away character in form of Testament, and then we have the absolute rushdown machine that is Giovanna, who in this matchup type wants to just get in. I mean, there are some matchups where you get to play neutral much more, but this is probably like, I mean, you absolutely have to play neutral very carefully here, but you can't really utilize the step dashes into buttons as much as in some other matchups. For the Grave Reaper, the fireball that is glued to the ground from Testament is such a good tool at preventing you from playing any sort of horizontal ground game. That is usually going to be the premise, the layer 1 of the matchup. So the two tools that you're gonna be seeing a lot usually are dash blocking into Testament's projectiles for, you know, if we consider like the point blank distance, the Grave Reaper is minus, of course. So you can try to get into a favorable position by dash blocking forward, and eventually you would hopefully block a Grave Reaper at a distance that allows you to use your own mid-range buttons. The other option is, of course, the most classic fighting game answer to fireballs of all time, the good old jump. Like, even though a lot of players, like a lot of high-level players advise you to not jump too much, not jump willy-nilly, definitely don't make that necessarily your layer 1, is usually the advice. It is a tool that you have to represent. Because one of the best tools for Testament to counter that would be the up Grave Reaper. Doing like a preemptive up Grave Reaper, if it hits, Testament gets a huge ass combo, but if it misses, then you have a prime opportunity to either whiff punish or close in on the Testament player. And if you give the Testament player reason to sort of throw those up fireballs, well, you got yourself a game plan. But let's see how the players are actually going to be playing it out as.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
So starting with the 2S, one of the best round starts of Testament. And of course, if you're unfamiliar with how Testament game plan flows, you first throw one of your Grave Reapers, which puts this succubus marker on the field, which then you can use as a sort of homing point for your other important... That was a nice backdash. You can use for a homing point for your crow projectile, which, if it makes contact with the opponent, even a block, it does put them in a cursed state, which then in turn allows you to have some really great rewards for your strikes as they trigger this mini RC kind of a state. Ooh, that was a bit too far there to convert after the glow slash. Oh, nice air dash out of the corner. However, ArpOxx was completely ready to chase afterwards. Ooh, presenting a big haymaker in the form of 6 heavy from Testament. Those are some of the best starters if you can actually manage to land a hit with those, especially the counter hit 6 heavy. That's kind of one of the reasons why Testament players love to go for it. Tried to reach for the cookie jar with a throw. That time Yappie had Calamity 1 queued up, which is the sort of the only reversal tool in the kit of Testament. Ooh, got there before the up fireball. And now looking for the finishing touch. Holding on to that FD is Yappie, trying to build distance between you and... The throw ends up whiffing. However, no punish there. The 2K comes in. Yappie barely ends up taking the second round, securing the first game of this set. It's gonna be a delicate dance between these two relatively mobile characters. Testament's mobility, though, comes from the fact that you can teleport into those aforementioned succubus markers whenever they are set on field, usually used as a corner tool option. sort of enforce RPS. If your opponent commits too much, then you can teleport into the marker and get back all of that real estate and corner the opponent. Ooh, that was a great angle there. The very high air dash to go over the Grave Reaper from Testament. Escape from the corner, sends it with a jump K as well. Jump K is a very interesting button, like a Iori type taco kick from King of Fighters, if we will. Always has a cross-up hitbox. Teleport into close slash pressure. However, ArpOxx sniffs out the throw option. Deals big amount of damage. Not quite able to bait the reversal super this time around. ArpOxx is working with 100. Unfortunately, from a full screen position, you can't really send it very easily. In a way, this was kind of a genius way of playing it. You could get baited into going in as Testament there, but against 100-meter opponent, you would much rather not. You would much rather seal out the deal with something disjointed, something that does not care about the reversal super from Giovanna whatsoever. Bursting out of the up fireball starter. Finding a 6 heavy using the RC. Able to go into another 6 heavy. Really nifty finish there for Yappie. Teleport? Yep, that's ArpOxx starting to kind of get a feeling for how often Yappie is utilizing that possession. In fact, now that I think about it, Yappie has used the succubus marker way more for possession rather than for the crow. Which is definitely like a playstyle of sorts, because you usually, what you do see is Testament players immediately throwing out that crow as soon as the succubus marker has been planted on the board. So again, subverting the opponent's expectations is the name of the game in fighting games. Ooh, able to get the DP there. 6p plus, if you will, from Giovanna. Drop the combo. RC to make sure that the pressure is going on. I think the reason why Yappie went for the RC is that the instant air dash jump K, even though it can score a cross-up on the opponent, it's really hard to convert. And now the spiral arrow goes through the fireball of Yappie's. Ooh, I think this is gonna whip right. Oh, that's so smart! With the 100 drifting upwards and getting the air throw. I think that was a guaranteed punish as well, because Yappie committed into the air dash, or rather, was at the very start of the air dash. And in Guilty Gear games, if you do go for an air dash, you are sort of locked into the animation for a set amount of frames. I forgot if in Guilty Gear Strive you can actually still tech during that, but in older Guilty Gear games it didn't used to be possible at all. Okay, just with the 2p anti-air on the landing here. Queuing up a fully charged 5D as well. There we go, got them with the up fireball. Unless it's a counter hit, or if you get a close enough hit, the up fireball doesn't really lead into much. But especially if you manage to land it as an anti-air, super rewarding starter. The punish on the Calamity 1. 1, 2, 3, drop them in the corner. Not quite ready to break the wall yet. This is I think kind of smart. Was hoping that this sequence would actually kill Testament here, because ArpOxx was not working with any meter whatsoever. Found the overhead. Is that enough? Ooh, the 5K does not end up connecting, but queuing up the 6 heavy. The big haymaker that does not allow the opponent to get anything out of it. Wow, what a DP! What a DP from ArpOxx! Hitting so high, hitting cross-up as well, and still from that counter hit able to pick up the combo. Teleport in place, faking the corner steal there. It's kind of a high-level move, because a lot of these shenanigans with possession kind of rely on your opponent on level 2, kind of expecting them to know that they're is a potential for you to teleport out. So if you go for a possession and they just are playing their layer 1 instead and just dashing at you, you are at a really bad spot. Oh, got the air throw still. ArpOxx would definitely love to put points on the board here, as Yappie has been able to open up the set with straight 3 wins. If the little combo here, unfortunately the last up fireball ends up not getting counter hit from the 2D. We can break it to, or bring it to the wall and break it as well. Cue up the cartwheel. Half of the life from Yappie's life gauge is gone. Frame trap. Ooh, I like that. Frame trap into the DP, then immediate FRC, I think that was. Yappie was able to find a reversal super in between. Goes for the same mix-up again. This time you don't have the resources. Oh, you don't have the right. Survives against the high arbiter sign there, going airborne. Players switching sides back and forth. Could still go for the corner, still does go for it. However, look at that. ArpOxx with the mobility, able to dodge any sort of threat after the teleport. This is one of the toughest decisions that you could make in fighting games in general. If you have a tool that can potentially mix the opponent up but forfeits the corner, you always have to be really careful with that decision. Are you gonna go for it? Are you gonna try the corner steal? And if that mix-up fails, if that sequence fails, or the opponent has a burst to burst you in there, you can just straight up lose the round from that. Nice, able to catch the startup frames of that S-Reaper. Oh, there we go again. Not letting ArpOxx to go for the same mix-up. It's been that sending the DP into FRC. It's been what ArpOxx love to rock here. Oh, a little too early on the throw. So getting punished by Yappie's back throwing turn. Plus 10. Checking out what the opponent wants to do. Not in throw range whatsoever. Cool sequence there for ArpOxx. Kind of an alternative way to play the throw bait shimmy situation. A lot of the time in this game, especially when you ventured into their close slash distance, it's kind of hard to make their throws whiff. But on a character that has a relatively fast backwards movement, such as Giovanna, you have more opportunities to place yourself in a perfect place and make their throws whiff. Try to tap the 5P there as an anti-air. Ooh, the 6P ends up going under the up beast. Oh, the crow was a little early. No curse achieved. So now you still have to find one more hit. Finds it with that empty low. Yappie. Definitely not lacking in the pressure and the mix-up department. Yo, that was a very high jump. Able to go over the homing crow. Probably wouldn't have survived the neutral crow, but if it's homing towards the ground. Another great heavy Reaper, putting ArpOxx to the ground, getting the curse as well, and the new buffs here. The throw ends up triggering the stain state and giving you a full combo. Well, at least as much of a combo that you could get. Again, look at this! Yappie is on the basically perfect Yomi layer. Ever since the couple of initial DP, block string DPs from Giovanna, ArpOxx just hasn't been able to run it again. It's reversal supers all the way through. We are probably gonna get a disconnection here. So let's see if the players do notice. I think I saw Yappie typing in the chat. We are still working with slightly shaky player rooms, but maybe 2.0 might bring us a blessing and remove this unfortunate side feature of the I don't know even what it is a derivative of. The netcode, the infrastructure, the lobbies, or what? Okay, looking like we are gonna sandbag out of the match, so not gonna lose any footage here, which is super cool. Yappie with a fairly strong lead here, 3 games up on ArpOxx. This is also like a double back-to-back appearance for Team France as well. I forgot what the... let me see. Yeah, in the next one it's gonna be ads. Another French player, but before that, let us finish this bout. At the moment, Yappie, representing Poland, is up a couple of games on ArpOxx. But a lot of things can happen on an explosive character such as Giovanna. And on the other hand, when you have a slow momentum, like low snowball capability character like Testament, you're gonna have to be extra careful not to make mistakes. Especially when you're facing one of the... like one of super explosive characters. I guess Giovanna not the most explosive character of the cast either, so could argue that Giovanna has to land like maybe 1 or 2 more hits than maybe some of the top damage characters in Guilty Gear Strike generally have to. But she does make up for it with her mobility. It's the balancing factor usually. Now from the positive bonus. Nice angle on the fireball. Ooh, again a deep dash in 2D. One of the most classic tools to fish for counter hits. Maybe the only tool that is akin to space control tool for Giovanna, that jump D, sorry, the 2D. Speaking of which, another counter hit, and that's from point blank distance, allowing ArpOxx to basically pick their combo route. Big damage into Oki situation, jump in, into the throw. Are we throwing again? Unsure, but ArpOxx did commit to a button here, and Yappie with the presence of mind sees the burst coming from a mile away. We got the marker, we got the curse, and here comes the overhead beast. If you are basically completely zoned in on trying to react to the high beast or the low beast, it is arguably reactable, but kind of it's a really difficult kind of mind space you have to put yourself in. Like you basically say, okay, I'm gonna sit still and just wait for you to potentially start your zoning. And if the opponent does not go for the arbiter sign, then you might miss your opportunity to close in on them if you just sit still on wake up in those situations. Speaking of the arbiter sign, there we go, exactly. Sees the low arbiter, uses the step dash, gets in on Yappie way before, like just in the nick of time before the high arbiter goes online. 100 meter has been spent on this reversal. 2K of the DLC kind goes active for Testament. However, ArpOxx, the position is way too strong. Testament's back is against the corner, and we've been able to corner the prey. Let's see if the beast, the hunting wolf, can close in often enough to bring this potentially even. Another Oki possession into the close slash. And one of the downsides of going into the Oki close slash through the teleport is that you're not necessarily like the strongest pressure character in the game. Like even if you do land your +1 on block close slash, like what are you gonna go for afterwards? Usually Testament like kind of wants to pressure with the curse instead, so you kind of have to weigh your options. Is that worthy enough? Sacrificing the opportunity to put the curse on them on Oki, or do you want to teleport into close range pressure? these are the interesting questions on characters such as Testament that you gotta ask yourself. Ooh, the 2S tried to convert it into a tick throw, but ArpOxx smartly understanding the frame data of the situation, jumps out and converts into a huge combo plus frames from the spiral arrow. Yep, he does end up gambling on the throw, catches ArpOxx dashing forward. Ooh, nice conversion. They should break it to the wall. Can break as well if they want to, and this time they do want to. Life lead and soon to be 50 meter. Dash blocking into the initial projectile. Could this be it? No, not without 50 meter at least. And the second hit of the up fireball does prematurely break the wall, but that ends up being enough. Yappie keeps up the momentum. Ooh, cut them with the up dog. I forgot what the hitbox, or rather the hurtbox of the air fireball from Testament looks like, but I think you are relatively accessible for like fast, especially forward moving hitboxes such as the up dog if you are in a perfect position. Or 6Ps as well. Oh wait, I thought I saw something from ArpOxx. Maybe there was an FD cancel on the first frame there. Which, if so, great presence of mind. This is an interesting mechanic that you can do, canceling the first startup frames of your moves into FD, which usually only plays into post super flash situations. As the RC extension also is gonna be enough to extend into another wall stick, into a break. Now ArpOxx. Air dash in with the jump B. Yappie returns with a P of their own. The quick 1-2, try to go for a throw, but it's ArpOxx who is queuing up the back throw. Blocking the low arbiter. Look at how fast Giovanna just can cover the distance after the blocked low beast. The standard fighting game shimmy here. As if we're playing Street Fighter, trying to teleport out of the corner, but the startup is not fast enough. ArpOxx intercepts the escape attempt. Yeah, this is the mobility advantage of Giovanna. In situations where like some characters might not actually have access to you as you're trying to get the startup of the teleport out, Giovanna gets there extremely fast. Alright, successful possession RPS, allowing Yappie to go back to the mid screen. Now ArpOxx will once again have to try to find a way in, try to thread the needle, try to find the opening in the haystack, which unfortunately does not manifest here. And putting the opponent through the wall with that super, the Nostrovia, will allow you to put the curse on the opponent. The fireball does not trigger it, but does trigger here, unfortunately. I think the sequence was a little off here. Yappie might have not, or might have thought that the curse was already over potentially. And I think the old curse with the old timer might have been. Ooh, stealing the corner. No burst for the opponent, so doesn't end up getting punished too bad, even though the cross-up axe kick was not converted properly. Arbiter sign finds its mark. ArpOxx can't trade anymore. Dash block into. That's patience, I tell you. Baiting out the throw. I think the backdash BRC usually used as an instant overhead option, but I guess you can kind of use it as a shimmy option there. Look at the momentum from the BRC. This time not going for the possession, instead tries to hard force the escape with an instant air dash. ArpOxx says no. No access on those airwaves. 6 heavy into Arbiter sign once again. Nice snipe! Into a nifty little BMB combo, ending up in a guaranteed curse. The sequence. I think I've seen from the back of my eye, or the corner of my eye, I've seen that same sequence that Yappie has gone for, baiting the reversal throw from ArpOxx. But this could be a turning point. Hard knockdown is all you need. 100 meter on Yappie though, so could go for a reversal super PRC. Saves the meter for a better day. And actually doesn't even need it. Save it for regionals. Or maybe the next game. But fact of the matter is, at the moment, Yappie is working with 6 points against ArpOxx's 3. So one player much closer to the finish line than the other. Let's see if ArpOxx can take a last-minute sprint here, though. I do like that spacing. ArpOxx basically spaced himself at a distance where even if the opponent goes for the possession, their buttons would likely end up whipping if they want to go for one of their fastest ones. 5-minute counter hit. Oh, and another one. No, that DP ends up whipping, huh? Another, I guess, conversion type that like asks you to be at a perfect distance for the Giovanna player. Ooh, this time going in with a slightly different game plan. The dash forward 2K from Testament. I mean, you do have extremely good K buttons on this character, especially the crouching K. So engaging with that can be fairly lucrative, can be useful. Especially if you think the opponent, Giovanna, is dashing forward. Because like generally against a good whiff punish character like this, Giovanna, Chip, characters like that, you don't want to whiff your heavier buttons, whiff K buttons instead, if you can. Oh, this time Yappie does go for the throw though. And another one. Set point. Oh, the close slash ends up hitting. That's gonna be decent amount of damage. Not the 50% health damage combos that you do tend to see from many other characters in Guilty Gear Strive. But hey, that kind of comes with the territory when you are a zoner archetype of sorts. The duty still hit. Oh my goodness. Oh, Haymaker here. He's standing up, waiting for the burst. ArpOxx not quite ready to burst yet, and this might be huge momentum swing. Now ArpOxx still has that full blue burst ready to go if they take a hit. And against the low damage character, you do have more agency for when you want to burst. Low profile with the 2K. That was sexy. You could have taken that hit with a 6P instead, but ArpOxx said, nah, I'm gonna go for a more lucrative option. I'm gonna whiff my low profile here and then punish you on the landing frames. For if you use any of those air fireball options, you are gonna land into, I think, counter hit state, which is what ArpOxx ended up utilizing there. So no, now ArpOxx one step closer, but again 6'4" looks much better than 6'3" or 6'2". Age-old wisdom. An old wise Chinese man once said, rather be 6'4" than 6'3". Oh yeah. Set point position for Yappie again though. Ooh, sequence didn't end up working out for Yappie. Actually forcing Yappie to spend the burst, backdash out of the 2K. Yeah, you would have to sort of commit to an S button there from that distance, because ArpOxx has been backing off and spacing himself away from the succubus markers of Yappie. Ooh, again gets there with the strike before the up fireball goes online. ArpOxx still in it to win it for sure. The fighting spirit has never ceased. And the wolf spirit, the hungry wolf spirit, is still there as the Polish hunter closes in on the opponent. Half of your life gone. Time to howl. Goes to the up fireball. However, ArpOxx has been very good with those dash blocks. Playing the matchup as it's supposed to be, and here comes the heavy fireball once again. We talked about that. If you can make the opponent use those heavy fireballs, then you open up those avenues for whiff punishing. In Giovanna's case, it has been the 2D. The 2D has been the tool, has basically poked the opponent, the Testament player, out of their fireball startup so far. 5-6.
Duel 1.
The 5-6, the precursor of 6-7. Don't you like it when boomers try to make zoomer jokes? Is it a little pathetic or is it endearing? Oh, but that's a nice instant air dash out of the corner, catching Yappie into very decent full combo as well. Got the throw into plus frames, into the spiral arrow. Now, look at how much meter ArpOxx has. This is basically on the first hit gonna give him the 50 to work with. Should he need to work with it? We can also go for a throw and just end the round right there.
Duel 2.
ArpOxx has so much momentum. This could be a comeback type of a beat. Ooh, got them with a cross-up question mark? The cool thing about, like, this is exactly what Testament player can't do. You don't really have a cancel option out of your cross-up jump gate. Exactly what Yappie was trying to do there. You would have to use your RC to convert those most of the time, unless you come in from like a descending angle from the skies. Ooh, that's a counter hit 6 heavy. That's another one. 2 counter hits. Can we get one more? No, drifting into the throw. And converting with an RC. This will go into a wall break. Oh, never mind. Does not go into a wall break. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a 6-7. But who is gonna be the 7 here?
Mankind. Duel 1.
Some players say that Giovanna is a 10. But this time, will she be a 7? She would definitely like to be. ArpOxx would definitely like to make that Giovanna a 7. In the very near future, this is gonna be the last game. Both players winning the throw from just one step too far away from the throw distance. Aggressive burst. Can we recover? No! The crow slash does not recover in time, even against the slowest in the game. Reversal super that the Calamity one basically is. I'm not actually sure if it's the absolute slowest, but it's one of the slowest out there for sure. Got them with the 2D. And counter hit once again. ArpOxx getting the throw into another strike throw situation. Strike throw of this character is so good because you are working with not only your mobility, but ooh, got them with the DP. Are we able to block? No, queued up the air dash already. That was a great backdash. However, the counterplay there sees the RC flash and able to get a whiff punish on the follow-up situation. Final Luigi, there is no take-backsies after this. One more to decide this battle of ages. We got the curse here, triggered by the high arbiter sign. Maybe one more sequence. Oh, that was a mistake. The jump D puts Yappie in a lot of recovery out of the sky. However, the back throw, able to get Yappie out of there momentarily. Now ArpOxx is in a grave situation. The possession to the other side. Again, no crows being used. Clipped by the far slash. However, Yappie still has the burst. Possession again! 5 heavy! It's the possession! What a way to end the set for Yappie, a player who loves that tool so much. The possession master. I swear, I kid you, I swear on my mom, Yappie used possession way more than the crow fireball. Subverting all expectations, playing this slightly different kind of Testament that you might have been accustomed to. Wow, what a great match from both players as their debut match on Bounty Hunters. In my heart, everybody was the winner today for sure. An absolute nail biter. And what do we have next? Another French warrior entering the ring in form of... Is it ADS or ads? I think ads? Ads maybe works? Opponent tonight is gonna be Thunder Kitty. Another match that was initially not manifesting, but Thunder Kitty offered to step in to fill out a spot with one of her side hustles. This is a Johnny player usually, but Thunder Kitty does have a does have a couple of side characters in her sleeve, out of which I think we've seen Sin and Nagoriyuki the most, if memory serves correctly. All right, we have a short intermission. you know what I just realized? So because Thunder Kitty was not part of the signups, I wonder if she knew that the opponent's card was gonna have one of these old ass emotes in text, because this is a perfect setup. We got the what do you call that? What is cocksoismista in English? It's is it a colon? Yeah, colon. We got the classic colon D, and then we got the anime style colon 3. A really powerful card setup for sure for this matchup slot. And a really powerful contrast of characters as well. Chip, the de facto the most pixie character in the game, versus Nagoriyuki, a character who can be pixie as well, but has basically been Nago's kind of like the shotgun of Guilty Gear Strive. Has some of the highest damage potential out of any character, and also one of the most consistent characters for bringing that damage on board. If blood is available, it usually means most hits can be converted into some absolutely crazy damage. And then when the blood gauge is high, if you score, for example, counter hits with buttons such as 5 heavy, 6 heavy, stuff like that, you get a really hard hitting Samurai Showdown type combos that last only like 2 or 3 hits, but basically do half of the opponent's life. And that sort of contrast is gonna be even more apparent in this matchup, where you're in fact comboing the lowest EHP character in the game, Mr. Azanov. So fun times ahead. One-shot character, as they call Nagoriyuki, is gonna look to slap the little fly with the fly swatter. But on the other hand, the fly does have a lot of different angles to approach from. Just like Giovanna, this is one of the best whiff punishing characters in the game. If you end up whiffing something, especially like your heavy buttons, even though you would think that Chip at like full screen distance couldn't do anything against the with 5 heavy, for example, you gotta be really careful not to press those heavy buttons against this character, because you don't get freebies. Maybe in a different matchup you might get away with it, but not in this one. This is a character that absolutely punishes you for pushing some of those heavier buttons, or whiffing some of those heavier buttons. And it really works wonders in tandem with Chip's ability, like the two things combined. One, your ability to sort of back away from those RP, like those neutral poke situations, and create the whiff punish opportunities, but then at the same time able to engage the opponent without giving them an opportunity to react to it. Like a dash from Chip is nigh unreactable, and an instant air dash from Chip is one of the fastest ways to engage. from the air in the game, basically, from like among the whole cast. Like, even though it is, if you're looking for it, if you know that instant air dash jump heavy is gonna come next, it's still not a trivial reaction per se, especially on a character that has slightly slower than average anti-airs as well. Like 6P from Nagoriyuki, I think is it 11 frames type of beat? To the point where I'm not sure like how confidently you can actually use a reaction 6P. But this character is definitely known to have to rely on some of the other anti-air tools, such as like 5P. And like 5P is basically Nagoriyuki's 5-framer, and it has a good anti-air hitbox, so you definitely can work with that button. But it forces you to be a little bit more preemptive, and the question is how preemptive can you be against fast air dashes such as what you can expect from Chip? Yeah, I did see the hydrogen bomb versus a coffin baby analogy in the chat, but I think it holds true if we're simply looking at defensive modifiers. But Chip is a character that can deal quite a lot of damage, especially in modern patches, especially with that new tightrope available. If tightrope is considered, like, most of your knockdowns allow you to set it up, and then you go for some sort of a high-low, left-right strike-throw mix-up. If you manage to find a hit with those, it's usually go time. You're pretty good from those situations. Sort of queued up to deal 40% of your opponent's lives, even like half of the opponent's life, just like any other super high damage character in the game. Without tightrope, without resources though, generally you're not looking at the biggest rewards. But let's see how this goes. Starting up fairly slow, as you probably should against a character like Nagoriyuki, opting to go for a very fast burst. So you should keep an eye on this this sort of meta aspect of the matchup. How fast is Ads gonna burst against this character? So if you burst immediately, you do save yourself a lot of hit points. You are a soft character after all, but it will burst Nagoriyuki back to neutral with a lot of blood available as well. So when you're trying to craft a sort of a game plan against Nagoriyuki, you have to consider whether you want to play those neutral situations post-burst against the high blood Nago or against the low blood Nago. And I think a lot of players tend to choose the high blood variant instead, because that allows you that eliminates unpredictability. Nago special moves are really strong at engaging you at neutral, and they're kind of something you have to guess against, and a lot of players just don't like guessing against like a hydrogen bomb of sorts. Speaking of the hydrogen bomb, Kitty making some quick work of Ads in this first round. Starting with that new improved 2D there. The magic number that you usually want to work against Nagoriyuki at round start is 10 frames. You don't want to poke with anything that is any slower, lest you risk a counter hit round start DP from Nagoriyuki, which throughout the history of Guilty Gear Strive has been one of the more dreadful and scary round starts to contend with, simply because of how much rewards you can reap from those hits. Speaking of reaping rewards, should have the kill here. We have the tightrope, or rather the wall cling normals available, as you are riding that tightrope on Chip, which are kind of like more damaging variants of your usual normals. Ooh, try to tap a type of 5D there. Might have been a misinput on... I wonder why. Not in a position to get punished there. Kitty did commit to that backwards Fukio. The double jump, not going for the third one. Queuing up the Rekka as a mix-up. Ad still has quite a lot of meter to spend. RC coming in here, ending up in plus frames, and seals the deal comfortably. These are two back-to-back games that basically showcased the best case scenario for both of these characters. In the first game, Kitty was like, okay, just hitting every single like massively damaging strike on Ads, and you know, Chip just ended up melting immediately. And on in the second game, Ads patiently controlling the game, playing the neutral, making the whiff punishes happen, and once you get a hit in, able to pressure Kitty, disallowing her from doing much stuff. Oh, we're gonna burst here. Okay. Okay, double gamble. Too bad. Like even if you put your opponent at full screen distance after the baseball bat super, the super that is basically only available to you in Blood Rage state, empties all of your life, but more importantly, it puts you in so much of a frame disadvantage that even if the opponent is standing on the other side of the screen, and there's no way out, you're gonna get punished. Ooh, the last far slash of the Rekka or the far slash sequence ends up hitting. Tried to poke there with a 2P. Can we get a punish? Yes, indeed. Perfect hit with the close slash. Should be a downzo deal here, unless the FRC doesn't end up working out for Kitty. Oh no, is this gonna be a bandit highway robbery kind of a situation? The Rekka high variant finds its mark, and Kitty does not even have a chance to burst out. Oh no. I think the combo that Kitty was working with was like basically a guaranteed kill if you have the right extension. Although how do you extend that at the end there? The ender was like far slash and then you burn meter into something. But unsure what the optimal option would be for Nagoriyuki. The trait there, but in the follow-up situation, the ninja tends to be the faster one. Or with buttons that are faster for their range generally. Unless we're contending with Nago 5k at the perfect mid-range distance. That button is kind of good. They do say that Nago doesn't really have Abare defense very easily until you manage to push your opponent to your 5k distance. The neutral jump heavy from a very far distance. Or sorry, jump slash is that? Jump heavy would be the blade extending downwards, right? Ooh, what the whiff punish here. The whiff punisher becomes the whiff punished. The Blood Rage 5 heavy, like there was no way that was gonna ever whiff. Because it's like basically extends your 5 heavy to almost hit full screen. It's really hard to space yourself out of. Counter hit 2D. What can we cook with? This looks like a good combo. Oh, but we're gonna pop here. Kitty is gonna get the burst back momentarily. RC maybe expecting the 6P to still be utilizable there. Great air throw. Man, I would expect a lot of Nagoriyuki's play a close slash there and be like, okay, you're in a position for one of my best starters. But I think the air throw might be even more consistent in that situation. Both are absolutely fine options for sure. Still catching on the tightrope. You do have to land to yourself though if you want to go for the usual super wall break in terms of Bunky Messai. if you're on the rope, you can go for Zanse Roga, but it does not break the wall. So if you're expecting your opponent to not die, then you would have to land yourself before ending the sequence. Switching sides, coming down with a jump 2K. One of the hardest air approaches in the game to deal with, I kid you not. Too heavy does work wonders, wiping ads out of the sky and then baiting the DP. Basically choose your combo adventure kind of a situation. There's a lot of different ways that you could end that round from that countering close slash on an aerial opponent. Ooh, the DP still ends up connecting on Kitty's own. Although Nagoriyuki's DP is a little different, more of a, not really a DP per se, not really a reversal, but just a great poke. Let's say it's just a great mid-range poke. Because that's basically what it is, isn't it? A high commit mid-range poke because it costs resources. And now sending the shuriken. Ooh, able to get the quick transition into Rekka overhead. Securing Edge once again a lead.
Duel 1.
But for how long? It could be just a matter of seconds here. Ooh, utilizing that cool jump K. One of the faster air-to-air buttons and has a little bit of a cross-up hitbox as well, as far as I've understood. As far as we've witnessed, I suppose. Good, utilizing the -3, I think, from the Beyblade. It's a sort of a guessing situation. If you think Nagoriyuki will not cancel into anything, then absolutely should push your advantage. Ooh. Do they see? They didn't see. But now any hit is gonna be good. Could even send his own clone at Nagoriyuki. Comes out with a jump 2K. Yeah, and that's a difficult block. The way it like hits multiple times and overhead as well. So you kind of have to time your transition into the low block if you think they're just gonna go like jump 2K into a 2K. Ooh, got them with the counter hit. Currently, the defensive modifier for Kitty is relatively low as the blood is high. So one more hit could be it for Ads, especially with the positive bonus building that meter. Missed the conversion, but happy little accident, as one of the sages of our time did say. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Just transition into the best offense that you can. Is the sort of martial rule that Ads abided by that time. Ooh, again, the DP missing on the far slash. A little bit of disjoint on that, as far as I know. Is this safe pop? No, it's... What the... No way! Oh, save after save. That was an interesting situation. So missed the punish on the Blood Rage. Kitty was able to get a super between the hits, but then Ads realized that and had already queued up a purple RC, saving himself from the impending doom. Quite big damage inbound. This is on a blood popped opponent. Drop in the corner, catch him with a 5kk. Yeah, as long as you're a 5k distance, you are basically at the best chip pressure distance. Chip is a character that doesn't even necessarily have to get the close slash. I mean, you do enjoy getting the close slash if you can get there, but that's more of a reward on your Oki. But you can get the next best thing, which is your 5k distance, allows you to have that stagger pressure that is really hard to get out of. And guarantees you a lot of different kinds of options that you could follow it up with. Kitty bounced through the wall here. Got the IBFD, which is pretty good start for your hard knockdown wall break situation, because Chip is usually jumping at you with a safe jump. Conversion into the Bunky Messai should be enough, yes indeed, even though Kitty was rather low on blood on that Potemkin type of defensive modifier. Still too low on life, and now the engagement from full screen from Ads. Ooh, but here we go with a grappler, normal throw range. Thunder Kitty getting the back throw into potential GG. Pressure still going. Breaking the wall with DP, so this is gonna cost Kitty quite a bit. Unless she gets the reversal super, even if it doesn't kill. Let's argue that the DP that Kitty spent there for like 0.6 bars of blood, even if that ends up putting her over the edge, that super getting the hit there is gonna offset the threshold. Is that a kill? I was sweating there. The 6 heavy countering into a 6 heavy. Into an OTG 6 heavy. Could have potentially been a kill if you managed to sequence it properly. Right, positive for Adge. Able to find a hit with that downwards alpha. I think Adge committed. Yep, getting hit by this super. But is it a kill though? Japanese guts may come into play as they do. But then with a quick forward Fukio into 2S, able to get a meaty in there, I believe.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Starting with a classic Far Slash. Far Slash from Chip, is that, wait, is that a, that's not a 9-framer, that's a 10-framer, right? Grok, is this right? No, it is actually a 9-framer, so Chip is sitting actually pretty good on the round start situation against Nagoriyuki. Alright, through the wall. Modifier is still rather high, so just about any hit that we could get. Yep, any hit. Any at all. Especially with the resources that Az had there. Starting with a 2S this time. Able to whiff cancel into 2 heavy. For some shenanigans. Now Kitty with the opportunity. Fukio straight into the brick wall, which is the SDP. Or sorry, is it the, I think it's, is it from the S button? It doesn't really matter, because like you only have one type of DP on Chip to begin with. Missing with the Far Slash. Kitty comes in with the jump in. Ooh, spacing trap. Ads actually ended up whipping with his K button there. And now this is a relatively important round that Kitty absolutely needs if she still wants to be at a sort of like a realistic position to contest this set. Or rather, a consistent place to contest this set. It's coming in from a 5-4 situation, way more easy than like 6-3. But at the moment, looking like Ads has her number. Here comes the Sanseroga. Does not break the wall, but this is basically saying it kills. Don't need Sagem to tell you if it does or not. Ads already knew, and it do. It really do. Yeah, that's the dangerous part of versus Naga round start. Even trading into that DP. Oh, combo! What was that sequence? That was so sexy. Jump K, land into forced pop into combo, burst to the other side. I mean, you didn't have any follow up there, I presume, but still, if you're gonna pop, you probably want to pop in a manner such as that. Another jump K cross up. At this point, I gotta say, Kitty is just, she has to be looking for it, right? That jump K has been tried to go for it again, but this time Ads had the proper counter option, methinks. Yeah, plus friends from the clone. Ah, nice counterplay, Kitty. Mashing with the 6P, which basically disallows you from going into the overhead Rekka airborne. Or sorry, airtight. most characters should be able to match with their 6-speeds, right? Even Nagoriyuki, who has like a slower 6-speed type. Oh, once again, the diagonal alpha, immediate hit confirm into Zanseroga. That's cool. That is cool as heck. And now Ads has his first set point opportunity. End it right here. Or even if you don't, you're still sitting at a very comfortable leading position. Nice punish there, I think, on the overhead Rekka. Chose to press close slash here, get the maximum punish. 6P again, yes, indeed, we have the overhead Rekka counterplay. Because it is what many chip players actually want to do. When you go into Rekka sequence, then you're probably gonna dial into the Rekka 3 and RC anyway for either a hit. Yo, what? The throw there? Too heavy counter hit? The pop up into the air with the red Roman cancel. This should be a kill, right? Yeah. Kitty has all the juice in the world and we are still alive. Wowee, baby.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Alright, starting with a really nice pick here. 2K. The more safer round start options for Kitty. Ooh, got them a little too close. If you try to go jump 2K into a slower button, even a faster button is kind of precarious if you end up in the opponent's throw range. I think. With a great super jump in. Kitty initiating pressure. No, we got the hiccups again. Tried to go for the air throw. That's really ambitious. Oh, Ads didn't see it. You never see it coming, or do you? Mask on. Very soon. Ooh, great interception there. If Ads allows Kitty to complete the pop and put the mask on, that's gonna be full blood bar available to neutral skip and then force a samurai mix-up. So you probably never want to play against that. So dash in and try to close it. Oh no, another safe blood pop here. Yep, that's a full blood bar and that's a counter hit Beyblade. One of the best starters that you dream to score. One of the easiest win conditions, I guess. Because like for many other hard hitting buttons you would have to be close enough, but Beyblade counter hit should get you decent amount of corner carry and a full combo most of the time, right? Well, trade into the clone, not the worst thing, I guess, because Nago pays with blood. RC to negate the effect of the deflect shield. Efflect shield. Effect plus deflect. Efflect. Oh, but that's not a good trade for Ads. No, sir. Kitty closing in like a hungry shark.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
That's a close slash, and yeah, as soon as I see the counter hit text from that button, I'm gonna be thinking about saving myself from a lot of damage. That might actually be one of the few situations where you probably don't want Nagoriyuki to complete their combo. You don't want to milk the blood out. You just want to get the hell out of that conversion as soon as possible. Alright, into the rope we go. This might not quite able to build enough tension to get the heart knockdown. But now we have a lot of tools. Got the super jump with the downwards angle of the Alpha Blade again. Into Zanseroga. Slice dies. And then we're gonna play nice. Potentially on the last round. Set point once again. Ads looking to end it. Not quite the counter hit that Kitty was looking for. But even a normal hit Beyblade does give you a decent amount of corner carry. Ooh, great. From the wall bounce into the super. Looking for potentially one more hit. Not the highest, but not the lowest defensive modifier available for Kitty at the moment either. We got the cross-up jump kick once again. Burst from Ads. Ooh, Kitty looking pretty good. Baiting the DP. DP never comes. Would it come again? Kitty is clearly positioning herself in a position where she is trying to get the DP out. The disjoint was a attempt on the second time. Tried to press far slash, no good. OTG goes into a jump 2K instead. Probably deemed that the OTG was not gonna kill, so play a better Oki instead. And Ads in fact ends up taking it for Team France. 7-5 was looking a little dangerous there as Kitty was revving up the engine. Very close set. Very close set once again. Great debut match for Ads. Welcome to Bounty Hunters. Right, turning up the heat for the matches that we have remaining. Next one is gonna be a relatively high power level match again. Will, for the second time tonight, first showing up to patch the initial holes on the missing opponent on the first match, playing the random select match, now returning back to a more comfortable character that we play on a regular basis. Bedman versus Puuro Slayer. Of course, Puuro is known for basically, I think, playing nothing but Slayer. Is just a committed Slayer mans through and through. As is, I guess, evident by the card text as well. Yeah, Puuro ain't planning to switch characters here. In fact, I think this kind of character type, this character archetype, where you have the kind of special movement on a horizontal axis that Slayer offers. He plays a lot of characters like this. Like, also plays Vi on 2XKO, who has kind of like similar-ish function with the sway. But yeah, this is definitely Puuro's beloved character archetype, and
That they cannot change society.
doesn't want anything else.
They blame the beasts, heaven or hell.
Will saying this guy looks familiar, probably referencing the fact that Will has been playing against a lot of Slayers as of recent on Bounty Hunters. In fact, we have a couple more seconds to check. It was a Nepal Slayer. Then it was another Slayer matchup as well, but yeah, definitely has played this matchup past couple of events. Ooh, great match there with the 2P. Able to prevent the Dandy Step from going active. This is a matchup where you actually, like, you definitely want to know about the frame data of Slayer's offense, which points have like gaps, which don't, and usually you want to, oh, okay, we're activating the install here very early into the round, or rather very early into Puuro's life bar. Puuro has 100, but you can make the horizontal neutral kind of difficult to tread for the Vampire Master. We got the counter hit into a couple of malfunctions, sending up the bomb head at the end of the sequence. Big commitment, frame trap into the Beyblade, or maybe not that big of a commitment because Will had 100 meter to back that up. I tried to go for a throw, wrong read that time. Puuro disengaging from the situation, and the Dandy Step, a tool that even if it takes Slayer momentarily backwards, what goes back comes forward. What comes around what goes around comes goes around. Wow, how does the saying go? Definitely a definition of Slayer. We still got the counter hit, Bob, and it's still active. Oh my goodness. You're going for a ride. Seeing stars yet? Ready to potentially compose a couple of haikus. Or maybe not, because Puuro is still one round down. But with a quick tap on the 5D, able to even out the round count. Will still has an advantage here on the last round. Almost full burst gauge, ready to go. Vacuuming the opponent in with a jump slash. One of the most classic buttons of Bedman players. A lot of players do say that, like, playing against Bedman is nothing but jump slash, but there are a lot of nuance to how that jump slash is played. The nuance usually comes from the 8-way Magneto dash that you can play on this character. The timing and the angle can be very different, Puuro, with the RC baits the impending, almost guaranteed to come out burst. Unless Will goes for the burst there, it's gonna be game over immediately. Puuro knows this. Play the RC, take the burst, go next. The gamer cycle. That was interesting. Able to recover from that 6 heavy Puuro was before the White Wild Assault went online. I think that was because Will ended up charging the Wild Assault. So Wild Assault White variant has a couple of different nuances depending on if you just input it and don't charge it, which goes through a lot of stuff really fast but cannot be comboed into. It's also like non-reactable, whereas the fully charged version can combo, but on in turn is like theoretically reactable with a throw if you're expecting it and you're at a perfect spacing. Speaking of perfect spacing, sending that 2D counter hit after the bite buff, forcing the counter hit, and now no conversion from those 5Ks and 6 heavy. GP once again prevents the Hand of Doom from going online. Puuro has a lot of resources to work with. I think one of the best, yeah, I was about to say, the zoning proposition might be what Will wants to run with here, because there is such a huge risk trying to engage against 100-meter Slayer. While you're seeing in the air, I'm not even sure, is that even plus? I mean, on the ground it's guaranteed like plus 10 usually, but blocking stuff and initiating stuff in the air is a little strange in Guilty Gear Strive. Got the throw though. Caught them 6-6ing. Putting Will on the board, 1-1. It's the classic start for an even matchup that we are gonna be working with here once again. That's the classic wait a couple of frames and then punish them with your S buttons is what Will's round start sequence ended up being. Got another... Ooh, yeah, utilizing the ability to convert those 5Ds if you time them perfectly with your errors. Bedman is an interesting character where all of your special moves, or most of your primary special moves, start a timer that produce an automatic follow-up. That is basically the crux, the meat and potatoes of your pressure as Bedman. Sorry, this combo hitting so hard that I'm getting the hiccups. Is hiccup an indication that you're hyperventilating or that your brain is running out of air? Because I do tend to get hiccups quite often commentating these things. And I tend to forget to breathe quite a bit. Ooh, still got them with the 2 heavy. Into the corner you go. Yeah, Puuro is probably one of the best burst spots that you could wish for. Get out of the corner and subvert some of the biggest damage coming in from Bedman starter. 6B able to get an interruption in there. Ooh, the jump D completely ends up airballing. That might have been a dangerous whip punish opportunity. Puuro wasn't ready to take that chance though at the time, and I think this should kill Slayer. Nope, as per usual, I'm always wrong. And it don't. Have to hold on to that FD. Drift forward after seeing the 2 heavy whiff. I'm actually surprised that 2 heavy ended up whiffing. I guess the active frames were already over. With the 6K, finding a hit into a small little conversion. I'm surprised that I say a small conversion and Slayer in the same sentence, but hey, sometimes you don't have the best of them. That conversion, though, would have been an absolute atomic bomb. Super jump K, not quite able to convert, but being extremely annoying, extremely tricky. Once again, the last nail on the coffin where you woke up this morning was the dash through into a quick tap. securing Puuro another winning position, but not by much. Not by much at all. We got the counter hit, and then the 5k pickup that you absolutely can and should get from your counter hit mappa hunches. It's one of the coolest ways of bringing your opponent into the corner if you do manage to get a counter hit with that lariat type of move that Slayer has. Yeah, being very patient as the explosion wave expires from the error. Another arrow inbound though. The bomb head gets a guard crush even on the non-install version as well, I guess. This time HiWill trying to play the burst bait. Puuro has chosen their destiny though. Not gonna burst this round, at least unless we get into much better position than the one that Puuro was in currently. Backdashing out of the minus frame situations. Those I believe both of those high and low follow-ups from Dante Step are -3 on block. -3 feels like even on block sometimes, I swear. Ooh, got the cross up with the jump day! And the error was queued up perfectly as well to pick up the combo. Puuro able to break out. Universe counter hit from the bite. Looking for one more hit. Close slash is going to be beaten by the reversal super of Wills. Oh, what a bluff! Wait, why was that? Was that a too heavy cancel into the error stall into throw? And that carried the momentum of the too heavy? Is that what I saw? I think that's the first time I see anything like this, so it's... I'm intrigued. I am positively and absolutely intrigued. Alright, vacuuming with the jump slash into a great point blank strike throw. Well, this time it's Puuro who gets the jump in. Not the best jump options for this character. You have a very floaty angle. You could say it's a unique advantage, creating you angles that a lot of characters can't usually get, going like for like a super jump slash, and the jump slash ends up like preserving some of the momentum in a weird way, giving you like a very, very floaty super jumps if you want those, but empty bite into universe counter hit. Will still wants to fight for this round. Makes sense. You are the better neutral character for sure. Utilizing those spikes from far away, preventing Puuro, or rather Slayer, coming in from the horizontal trajectory that he so much loves to utilize. Goes in with our previous point where I said that Slayer isn't really meant to fly. Now, if you wanna go airborne in Guilty Gear Strive, you probably want to pick a different character usually. So that is one of the strong points, the horizontal movement, but also one of the weak points of Slayer, because you are... Oh, but hold that thought! We get a big... It's late, or is that... Wait. Under pressure? It's late? Which one? It's late? I think it's late. Ooh, the RC ends up being the MVP tool that baits the opponent's burst once again. And the bets have turned from Puuro's advantageous situation. Will manages to get 2 in a row and get on the driver's seat. But these things definitely don't last. On a matchup where that's beautiful, catching Puuro from the Master's Hammer on the last possible frame. And the 6P, oh my god, HiWill just has all the counter options. The 6P, then the charged Wild Assault, or that was a non-charged Wild Assault actually. Connecting with the jump heavy from a little too high angle, allowing Puuro to press buttons there. 6K catches the backdash. Again, so vigilant. That throw on the Master's Hammer is not something that you get accidentally either, right? So whenever you see those picture-perfect throws from Master's Hammer, you're like, yeah, they were absolutely waiting for it and looking for it, and deserve to get rewarded as well. Right, able to tame all of the horizontal approaches from Puuro very early into this round. Now double, 2 birds with 1 stone, prevent the huge combo from happening and put HiWill into the corner. However, able to flip the positions once again, but look who's flipping now! Slayer, one of the best characters in the game, to switch sides with that 6. Oh, punish? I think that's punishes. Yeah, and that was that a clean hit as well? Unsure. Safe jump? Is it a safe jump? Yes, it is. Presenting the question to your opponent, how safe is your jump? And Puuro says, yes, very safe. Very safe. Ooh, and a combo into the bomb head. Even if you didn't manage to get the hit, the bomb head was basically queued up to break Puuro's guard in the follow-up sequence. And again, taps him with the 5D. Yeah, Puuro recognized that that would have been enough for HiWill to spin the 50 meter and cancel out of that tap 5D as well. So the only way to survive was, this time, was probably trying to get the throw, but the timing was not quite right. RC for more pressure. Puuro doesn't manage to, or maybe, that was a really strange situation there. I can see both players trying to press their fastest button there. But Puuro might have been very respectful of HiWill's options and ended up taking the 2K in the face in the end. The one, wait, was that a cross-up? I saw Bedman turn around for a moment. That is some cursed material, if so. Ooh, to the other side. I blinked for a moment that I did not even realize that Puuro did have that option up his sleeve potentially. Yeah, that was just a safe jump into an honest 6-6 gameplay. There are so many cool ways of delaying your air momentum as Bedman. Not only can you assume the flight state or the hover state, but you can also use the moves that either force your error to happen or delay your error. And unleashing the error after 2 heavy so that we have safe pressure sequence. Tapping the 5D and spend the 50 meter for a conversion. But now, Will is gonna be, I guess it's okay. If you break the wall in Guilty Gear Strive, it does give you the positive bonus. So even if you have the meter built penalty from spending overdrives or RCs, you are still gonna be building quite a lot because of the positive bonus. Oh, the Wide File Assault fully charged this time. Gives Will a small little combo. Trying to play as safe as possible. Puuro manages to intercept Will. Puuro was able to disable the impending error there, but still got caught in the aftermath. Actually, wait, is the bomb head? The bomb head is not the guard crush, but the malfunction. Or wait. No. The malfunction. No. Yeah. The malfunction does break your guard, but in like from the error follow-ups, it's the bomb head that guard crushes, right? Into a cool combo, now working with a cross-up! Comboing into the bomb head. We still need one more. Puuro with the 100 was... What was that? Freeze frame that I saw? Was that a startup of a super? Boom! Into 6 heavy. Yeah, I think I saw a startup frame of Super Mappa Hunch. But because it didn't go off is because in one of the earlier patches, soon after they implemented Slayer, they took away the ability to use that Mappa Hunch Super as a reversal. So at the current, you don't really have any valid reversal options other than your backdash as Slayer. Sort of accentuating the fact that you are an absolute cannon, but once you're pressured, you don't have a lot of good, defensive options. A lot of your skill points are put into just offense. Ooh, nice combo loop, and it's still going. Could get a wall break. Yes, indeed, and that's gonna be just enough. It's really cool. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are like sick and tired of seeing the like 60-70% damage Slayer combos, but those combos are not free per se. Like, if you've ever played Slayer yourself, you would know that even if the combos look similar, they have a lot of stuff that can go wrong, and a lot of stuff that you have to take into consideration depending on what kind of hit you're working with. So seeing these Slayer players complete their full loops is actually pretty damn cool, if you ask me. Ooh, using a little bit of a slingshot there with the FRC. Puuro once again takes the burst, however, misses the punish combo, comboing into a 2 heavy, which ends up completely airballing. It's okay, everybody take a breather. Puuro has been able to bring it 4 points even once again. Not doubting the Finnish Slayer hero for a moment, starting with another white wireless. Okay, that does push Puuro in the corner for sure. But now let's see, what are we gonna do when the vampire comes and finds a clean hit? To be OTG to restand them into more pressure, pedaling the plus frames, far slash moves you forward a little bit and puts you in that +2, or is it +3? That Mr. Bad Guy also has access to. Well, with the patient defense. But if you are too patient, yeah, I was about to say, you can't be too patient against Bedman. Otherwise, you're gonna get caught in that endless loop of pressure, get able to break out of there. Puuro looking to potentially go and enter the championship rounds on a positive score. Let's see if Will has something to say about that. Ooh, that spacing, the footsies there. What was the button that Puuro pressed? 2D? Or 2S? I think it looked like 2S. Reversal is casually baited. Vampire walks back. Vampire presses close slash. Vampire ends the round. And Puuro is one of those players who I think most of Puuro's victories usually come from a late sprint at the end, going very toe-to-toe early in the set and then eventually just able to snowball into victory after downloading enough data. Hard tick throw to avoid with the jump slash of Bedman's vacuuming you forward. Okay, we're just pressing too heavy here. Oh, we're punching through. Going into the low follow-up, unless you spend meter there or unless it's a counter rate, not gonna go into much, but Puuro is definitely happy working with these small conversions as well. There's balance to all things. Sometimes there are big 70% health combos, but sometimes there are small little 30% damage combos as well. Sometimes in Guilty Gear Strive you do just a little bit of damage, little bit like 30 or 40%. Yeah, those are the small hits, right? Oh, got them with Slam Slash. Now should have. Oh, never mind. The sequence somehow ends up backfiring. I wonder if HiWill was trying to reset the combo there, or if that was just a straight up drop. Once again, the 2P mash, successful from Puuro, out of the corner, into the frying pan, tap them with a 5D. Burst bait, good value for Will. Oh, still peak side up. And with the error, not quite able to get the wall stick. But this should guarantee it. Will Slayer survive? No, sir. Same as with Slayer, what goes around comes around, and at the moment Will is looking to swing the pendulum in his own favor again, potentially able to get the 2K. Bedman 2K, surprisingly far-reaching move. Oh, explosion from behind. But now, not able to convert that. Will has lost the ability to go straight into an error. Puuro consistently breaking a lot of these error opportunities. Now though, bouncing into the opponent's guard with the Beyblade, recognizing that the muck punch was coming, making it completely whiff and punishing on the way down. As nature intended, all things are once again equal. Perfect balance maintained all the way towards the end. Great poke there with the 5 heavy, sorry, the 2 heavy. Which is, from frame data perspective, a 5-frame starting low crush move, or rather the low crush starts on the frame 5. So you could technically treat it as a 5-frame starter move in certain circumstances. Ooh, the chase there with the 2 heavy, moving the bed forward. Smack dapping them to the other screen. Both players working with 50 here. Activating, okay, the game plan is... Oh, actually, no. I thought the game plan going forward for Will would be keep away because of the install super activated, but we're actually looking for potentially chaining up the errors into one another and spook Puuro into not being able to do much. Puuro, though, not swayed by at all by the threat of the install super. Here we go. Perfectly working in tandem with the error timer. Able to weave a 5D in there. For a quick little 20-frame overhead. Nice reversal. No reset on the pressure for you with that blue wild assault. And now you're going for the ride. Yes, once again, vacuuming with the jump slash into the strike throw. The YRC this time for Puuro, able to reach just barely, I bet. But the safe angles that HiWill is treading. Ending the round with that air needle. Oh, Puuro is like, screw your precision play. I'm gonna ram myself at you and do big damahe. Ooh, got the jump there, I think, with the blue wild assault this time. Puuro with the 50. One hit, one desire. Can he throw? Yes, indeed. And with the positive bonus, we have been able to accumulate more. Another 50, soon to be 100. Missed the throw. RC, we still have 50. Will still has to play this kind of... Ooh, nice, I love that. Recognize that Will had a lot of momentum going forward, so we're going backwards with the air dash. And now, boom, shakalaka. Moving to the decisive six-point position. So potentially set point is available here on the next game. Will now has to do 2 in a row.
Mankind new. Duel 1.
So what's the plan going forward? Getting counter hit by 2D. Luckily, I guess it was not in the worst possible position. Some of the counter hits for Slayer in the previous patches have been toned down a bit. So you don't necessarily get absolutely annihilated for all of those hits anymore. But then again, there are situations... Oh, nice jump up. Comes down with the jump slash. Will looking to potentially end, or at least threaten the end of the round here. 100, can we break it? If we can bring it to the wall, it should be a kill, right? Yeah, we don't even need the super. Just use all resources. No, the malfunction ends up missing. It's okay. We read the escape from the tech into air dash. Catch him with the 6B towards left side. Wild assault, you are in a tough position. A lot of that forced risk build up. And now potentially one again. It's that sequence. It's that sequence. Leonardo DiCaprio pointing. It's the sequence that Puuro has been using so much. Do the safe jump and then immediately transition into the 6-6. Dash through the opponent and mix them up if they're asleep on the wheel. Hammer it down. Yep, -3. Will this time smartly challenging. Try to chase the backdash again with the forward moving momentum. No good though. Both players are completely dry on the resource department. So you're gonna take this organic combo, restand, with another malfunction. Ooh, can we punish that? No, we're a little bit too far. 6P works out. Puuro has the meter. HiWill has nothing other than a better position and a wall break. But not even that. Never mind, it was a reset. It was a reset. Oakley dokily going down the... What's a good analogy? Going down the lane of... I don't know where I was going for that. Let's just see the last game, because this one is gonna end it all. This one's for the all of the marbles. Now, close enough to the corner, that gives definitely much better conversion than the mid-screen 2D counter hits that Puuro has been working with so far. Into the close slash we go, tap them. We have so many resources. We have so much cash we can spend in on an overhead on a whim. Yo, we ever play a fighting game that gives you this much meter? Wow, just break it. Just break the wall. You're gonna have so many options. Got them with the low follow-up, and then the tap. Disgusting. I love it. Set point Puuro. We definitely have some defensive resources. Oh, I love that. So IB on the approaching, sliding forward 2D basically guarantees you... Well, it's kind of the same situation where you're blocking a Beyblade and you're super minus there, and then the opponent... Or like you have to cancel your stuff into something that prevents you from getting thrown. Hammer the close slash. Is that it? Super Mappa Hans. 1, 2, 3. Punch it. Not quite enough. HiWill still alive somehow. We have the burst. Gold burst. Okay. Positive bonus acquired. Going into not a defensive posture. Will tries to pounce in and pressure Puuro. Ends up not working out in his favor, unfortunately, this time. So the Finnish Slayer Master out fatigues HiWill, who has played so many matches tonight, played the first matchup set, or first time slot set on random select, and now, after what's the number of games in the previous one? I don't know, but it's been a long night for Will for sure. Eventually, getting I don't think you even got out mental stacked here. I mean, just the basically the merit of Slayer being on the field does sort of exert a lot of mental stack in itself, but that'll be that. And we have 2 more to go. In both matchup slots, we do have a player brand new to Bounty Hunters, and on this one it would be Phantom. The interesting twist to this one is that this is Finland to the Dominican Republic. Quite the connection distance. I mean, I guess depending on where the routing goes, it can't be worse than Finland to East Coast, which is, you know, sometimes playable. But of course, I'm not a specialist on internet black magic, so unsure if you actually have some like decent connection between our countries, or rather decent routing opportunities and options between these 2 regions. And I think this would probably be our first contender ever from the Dominican Republic as well. It does kind of seem like it's like a hidden region where in a lot of fighting games, a lot of good fighting game players do emerge from over there. So I do wonder how tight of a fighting game community they got going on in there. It's kind of like if you grew up in the Finnish Guilty Gear bubble, it is definitely easy to believe that those kinds of small regions that produce absolute beasts can exist. For we used to have a pretty successful region for ourselves as well back in the day. Very active despite our very small population. Oh, sorry, did I ping the wrong player? So in my defense, I can't see who I'm pinging because Discord in its great wisdom has forced us to use the streamer mode. That basically hides everybody's Discord names. So I'm just like, when I'm DMing somebody, I'm just typing add name. And if that name brings out somebody else, then fuck me, I guess. Anyway, ready to play it. Okie dokie. So I'm probably sick and tired of saying this, but goddamn, these Faust players are entertaining. Faust is probably after Asuka, or maybe even sharing a spot with Asuka, some of the most interesting characters to commentate for. There is a lot of like chaos and a lot of fun stuff happening on screen whenever you know, have a matchup where Faust shows up. And worst is definitely, oh, the fishing pole actually disallowing Phantom from sliding under with that too heavy. Going into the super, throwing items. Oh, so the bomb gonna expire a little bit before the damage resolves, but I mean the damage from the throw was gonna seal the deal anyway. And as soon as the trumpet has been thrown, the neurons in Faust players' head activate. We gotta get to that horn. There are a lot of like mini games such as that, depending on what item you throw. You know, little guy is also sort of a mini game. The bomb is sort of a mini game. It's like there's a lot of items that basically ask both players to pay attention and to play the item-specific RPS or meta game. But yeah, Worst really good at sort of recognizing what items are being thrown and playing off of those items as well. I feel like I say that about just about any and every Faust player that we have on Bounty Hunters. We have to have a lot of like very item conscious players, if you will. But I mean, if you're playing Faust and you don't have like the knowledge of your items and you don't have the presence of mind and the game plan to follow up your items, then like why are you playing Faust in the first place? This character power level is just like really distributed in these random occurrences that you get by throwing an item. Ooh, starting with the lowest possible jump slash, making me think like, was that supposed to be a TK Yozan, which sometimes tends to be the round start option from a lot of bike game players. Able to combo into the 5k from the Afro explosion, but no more. There's quite a bit of gravity decay happening in Guilty Gear Strive if you combo into or from your items. What an opportunity for Phantom to unleash the first big combination of the set. Through the wall we go. Now we're guessing for a game. Worst has 50 meter potentially available for YRC. Sees it coming. That's a perfect thing. That's a perfect thing to see. So not only do you use that RC yourself to bait out burst semi-safely, but you can do the same thing on the opponent's YRC. So if you expect the YRC is coming, you can RC your string or maybe even react to it, who knows, if you're a Gosu. And of course on a block, YRC, pretty simple to punish, is mine is quite a lot, allowing you to micro dash into close flash. Alright, the little guy holds down the fort while Worst is picking up the trumpet, which ends up being itself being a combo breaker or a sequence breaker. Procuring a couple of plus frames from that gun, and from there, Phantom, ooh, that was not a meaty, unfortunately. Misses the timing on the cross-up mix-up. Into an empty throw this time. We definitely have the layers represented here. From Phantom. Right, a little bit of crawling under the opponent's 9-framer, if you will. You better have your counterplay if you're contending against some of the fastest S buttons in the game. Ooh, what a sandwich! Afro from above, little guys from behind, and now you're gonna have even more than that. I think not the most dangerous items. I mean, when a lot of bombs are being thrown on the field, that's sort of like that slows down the momentum a lot. It has always been the case in pretty much any Guilty Gear games where both players' attention kind of glues onto the bomb, and you're trying to maybe approach momentarily and then seize your recklessness when it's time to explode. Looking for one more hit. The little guy could be the nail on the coffin. The little guy just stopped there trotting at the perfect spacing there. That's footsies? I don't even exactly know how the little guy functions. Is it like a random for when he decides to turn around, or does he like patrol a certain predetermined distance from where he lands? If there are any Faust knowers in the chat, do educate me, because I've been wondering about that for a long time. What, Afro? Is a potential threat. Ooh, sees the air dash going on. 5k back into the corner. Now, yep, the big Afro, even when picked by Faust players, poses a really potent threat. The huge bounce on that, it kind of is a synthesis. Like when you pick up the Afro yourself as the Faust player, you make it like a loud bag that bounces forward for a couple of seconds, and it bounces kind of high as well. Meteors have been thrown, used as simply a pressure extender here, going for the guard crush. Yeah, little guy prevents Phantom from dashing forward. Hot potato on the ground, prompting Phantom to go for the instant air dash, push the opponent in the corner, away from the bomb explosion radius, and a nice little nifty conversion with the BMB corner bounce. Started with the 5k, even despite the RC, Worst wasn't quite able to get a button in there. Started with the back jump into drill, calls out, I guess, whatever grounded pokes that you could be pressing. This time though, the Baiken too heavy, sliding under the fishing pole. That interaction has been going both ways. Oh, you're sleeping here. Let me take advantage of you. That heavy kabari follow-up that slides through your opponent. Very punishable if the opponent is waiting for it. Oh, great response there on the gun. I wonder if that was post-flash or pre-flash. I think the travel time is so slow that you might actually be able to do it post-flash when you see the gun go off. Which would mean that super is actually not that free to just send at neutral. I mean, technically, if you think about the game from a very high-level perspective, shooting the gun from like full screen is not a good idea to begin with, because like there's a lot of counterplay, and it does not guarantee that you actually get to pressure the opponent. And like it has quite a lot of travel time, so the opponent does banana into a comboed meteor. Unfortunately, the combo ended up OTGing there, going into the mix for Worst. So now Phantom taking advantage of that little mishap, enabling the positive bonus. However, drill forward, jump 2k. I'm not quite sure what Worst ended up throwing, but I guess the most relevant piece of the sequence was the meteors. Still one of the better items to throw, even though the modern day Faust players in Strive do say that they would much rather throw that item, Hammer. Wow! He did. I guess Phantom had a lot of momentum going forward so that they were able to completely dodge the bounce trajectory of the Hammer there. But yeah, the Hammer is definitely a powerful tool, preventing your opponent from basically doing anything for a couple of seconds if they are in the danger zone. Dash into a command grab. This is potential safe jump setup, although you do have a very good counter tool in the form of the frame 1 reversal parry that can counter the safe jump option, which was kind of probably the reason why Worst did play the empty throws. You get a really nifty setup for the empty throws in that situation as well if you whiff one of your air buttons. Ooh, that's a whiff punish and a half. Tried to go for an instant air dash there with the jump K, ended up whiffing it initially, but then following up with the jump D, the huge injection that you tend to use, especially when the afro is applied to your opponent, making them stand a little bit higher, making it a valid instant overhead option, or just a better jumping option overall. It is a good button, has always been and will probably always be. Right, can I get a disconnection here? Let's see if the players notice. Oh, I guess the players got booted out as well. Okay, I think we're good then. Could have been a presence of mind from the players, like when you do see that the server is having a little bit of a please wait moment, you can, when the please wait moment has passed, you can manually come back to the lobby and save a little bit of TO headache. Right, resuming from the 3, or wait, did I remember the bet? I think I'm pretty sure I remember to put a point on whoever won the previous one. Memory is not the best ace card in QK's repertoire, it turns out. Ooh, still great timing there, using the burst. I wonder if the trumpet being thrown on the ground was the catalyst for Phantom to burst the opponent into the corner, or maybe it was just understanding the situation that the opponent did use the teleport, so even if you do get hit, you can just force them into the corner and basically not allow them any counterplay. But I do find myself favoring bursts that allow me to get trumpets as well. And what a matrix dodge there by Phantom. Ooh, great! Speaking of matrix, doing that Neo dodge under the high profile poke of Bikens. Both players looking for one more hit. What? Trading into S Kabari makes the Kabari attached? Really? Why have I not seen that before? Why is that new information for me? I've never actually seen that interaction before. That's kind of nutty. I could swear I've seen those before, but then haven't seen the Kabari being attached afterwards. Maybe it depends on your I don't know. Ooh, the jump D snipe was actually kind of close. Phantom has to respect a little bit longer the little guy, and then the bombs. Bombo! Prompting the burst from the Phantom Thief. Far slash the 9 frame. Wall of goodness. Waiting for the burst. Worst not quite ready to do that yet. Would love to take it to the next round if you can, and indeed he can. The big gamble pays off. Sometimes greed is good. when you have the goods to back it up. I mean, especially when you notice that your opponent is sort of in a position to, or is opting to bait the burst. I mean, of course, you can never know for sure, but if you pay attention to your opponent's patterns, you might get a hunch eventually. All right, opting to take the trumpet before moving forward. There are two schools of players here. I think some Faust players would just opt to go for the pressure, maybe get a close slash there, and then the other side of the player base will back off and take the trumpet. Oh, wait, cross up? Question mark? With a parry, deflect shield completely ends up whipping. Go for another one. This time it works, maybe. Grounding Phantom with a 6p into mix, and yeah, if you connect normals on the opponent when they're airborne, generally brews you plus frames. I guess was the case here for a worst as well.
Mankind knew that they... Duel 1. Let's rock.
We're getting a crawl under. Tries to go for the 5p, but the instant air dash for Phantom with punishing the fight. Oh my god, there's so many whiffing and so many whiff punishing opportunities this round. The latest of which is worst, but then the momentum swings have to respect the little guys. Even with the PRC, unfortunately, the momentum was downwards and not able to maintain the target in block stun successfully through all of those little guys. So I was talking about how the gun might not be the best thing here, but Phantom did find a pretty nice position, did pretty nice timing to go for the snipe. Good block on the teleport, actually manifesting in the front side, I think, that time.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Completely evading the cleave of that 6 heavy. Wow, whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, the hammer, the afro just barely dissipated in time for Phantom to not have to pick it up. Like when you are versus Faust, you never want to pick it up if possible. Even though Faust can derive value for it, you as the opponent cannot. Oh, there was a lot of stuff here. Teleport into the other side. Was there still a bomb? No. Throwing a hammer. Surprised the hammer was not active actually as Phantom was bouncing forward there. Working with the 50. What can we do? TK Yozan, wrong input unfortunately, and ends up losing the PRC as well, or either the RC as well, from the complete airball jump slash that was meant to be the Yozan. Now Worst happily exploiting the situation, building his lead even more. That is the tragedy of Baiken players. You see it decently often, even though it is a simple 236 input. It used to be a DP input, so like the TK Yozan was much harder to pull off in previous iterations of Guilty Gear. Even though it has been streamlined to be a huddle motion, it's still like you still have to get the TK, you still have to get the jump out to perform the fastest possible TK Yozan, right? Okay, pick up some of the food items. On the way in, pressure goes on with the use of 50 burst. Phantom is able to flip the position, pick up the trumpet as well. The impending horde absolutely guarantees that there is gonna be close range pressure. You bet your ass there is gonna be. Really great sequence there at the end. It's really cool when the non-Faust player can utilize the item luck as well. Like sometimes shit happens and a lot of, things can go wrong. The Faust player might miss their opportunities to utilize their thrown items, and then it falls upon you to sort of extract the value that was left unutilized. And strong players absolutely can do that. Starting with a 6p, I think that was a bar slash from Phantom. Good block on the instant overhead. Can't really see that coming, but you can basically say, okay, I think you're gonna go for it because it's such a strong option. Still plagued by the little guys produced by the trumpet. To the front. Yep, got the punish. Didn't have the 100 meter to, or wait, was that a 100 meter? You block on the hammer. But now you have to press, or block pressure on the way down. Meter's coming as well. It's one of the rare situations where you have so much more life than your opponent that Worst was actually able to completely ignore the fact that there were some dangerous items on the ground. If you're comboing the opponent and the bomb goes off, generally you both will explode. And I mean, if you have the life lead, or alternatively, if your opponent is low enough life, then heck it, just go for it. Trade there, definitely not in Phantom's favor, because the meteors were gonna produce a follow-up attack. Oh, wait a second, mashing throw there, gets the back throw, and picks up the trumpet as well. Phantom just gets all the value. Tried to go for an air. That was a weird angle. Wait, why did Worst come down so fast? Was that a cancel into like jump 2K or something? Okay. Valuable parry there. Making the little guy dissipate as well. But now WorstGuy on the first set point of this set. Will Phantom be able to play more? Despite the long connection, this has been surprisingly good-looking, stable-looking. I think even if there is lag, even if there is delay, there seems to be no stuttering, which is kind of cool. Oh, good throw break. I think that's gonna be a punish. Yeah, I got the punish, but used a very light button there with the 5 BP. Despite all that, in a favorite position to potentially win. Was that a... That was a gun. That was a gun, all right. But realizing the gun didn't go off, transitioning into... Wait, the hammer prevented the super from going online. I mean, I guess it's fine because you only needed the initial damage, the impact damage, but... Yeah, it technically does not... Or I mean, it does lock you into animation, but it does not stay invulnerable against outside threats. Yeah, has to RC here. Good recognition from Worst. Yeah, we gotta fight. Jump heavy. Grounds Phantom initially. And this hammer keeps him grounded as well. Afro, everything going in favor of Worst. Even though he is in a disadvantageous position here, the super unfortunately, producing an effect that does break the wall, but I think the bone-cracking excitement was probably the preferred way to break the wall there. Maybe? Or was there a chance to get like a guaranteed kill by getting some combination of items from the item throw? I'm unsure. Anyway, Phantom lives to fight another day for now. There is still quite the advantageous lead for our Finnish Faust hero. Checking with the crawl. Definitely can go under that heavy kabari. One behind, we gotta respect. Was actually able to get a jump off though before the bomb went off. Kind of clean conversion. Did we get anything good? Not, I mean, kinda yes, kinda no. The Afro in that situation is definitely powerful if you can manage to keep your position. Far slash, 5 heavy, tragedy, another tragedy of Viking players. The 5 heavy just can't reach. You have to be at a certain distance to be able to convert your far slashes. And then to the cross up, would there be a burst? Another one? We're definitely hard committed to that burst, but I think the worst case, or the worst thing here is that Worst does not have to bite on that burst. And will actually steal the round with that value that they were able to extract by simply not pressing the button. Sometimes fighting games are just as much about not pressing the button as they are about pressing it. Great Chinese wisdom. I think that's something that Sun Tzu said once in a like back in the day. Pretty sure, like 99% sure. Another hammer. Ooh, but the momentum from the too heavy. I think Phantom does seem like they have played this matchup quite a bit before, because they are using too heavy from really nice positions where like you absolutely have to push yourself forward in order to avoid some of the bouncing items of Faust. It's lit, it's exploding. Able to get trumpet here, probably. Don't even need it. That's a wrap. A celebratory run over by the little guys as well. Worst once again proves that they are quite the force to be reckoned with the items. But on the other hand, Phantom also had a lot of really great plays there, utilizing the items thrown by the opponent. And utilizing that too heavy to push yourself forward to avoid the reach of some of those items as well. So definitely an educational set, as well as an entertaining one. I definitely love myself when you're able to combine those two factors, both entertaining and when you see something new. But we have arrived to our, yes, we have come. Even the dragons. But we have arrived to the last matchup of the evening, which is gonna be between Dylan, sorry. Apologies my English pronunciation, Dylan. Dylan. Great going there, Kyuke. So between Dylan and Civ, one side being relatively new to our humble little show, which is our left corner here in the form of the Dylan. I'm gonna fuck myself over so many times having my foreigner foreign. Oh my god, am I this bad at English? Am I pronouncing it like Finnish at this point? Might as well start talking rally English at this point. Anyway, let's message the players to get our warriors in. Actually, I think we have both in already. Okie dokie. Get your hearts prepared for the last entertainment of the evening. This is another relatively explosive one. We got that Slayer, you already know. Representing the school of vampires. Extremely explosive damage when you get caught, especially by the counter hits. And then we have the school of get fricked by my momentum in the form of Elfelt. Elfelt, great mix-up capabilities and great ability to overload your opponent's mental stack. Basically can cancel just about anything into the Pineberry, which aka the grenade, and reset pressure. And if you block Pineberry, you are basically bound to take a mix-up afterwards. A very early burst bait here from Civ. Opponent not quite ready to bite yet. It ends up actually being Civ who bursts the opponent in the corner. I mean, clean it, look, clean it. I think that's a clean it, right? Right? That's a single super, does so much damage as well. I think, as far as I understand, you have to be like a sweet distance from the opponent when you go for your super Mappa hunch to get the clean hit damage. But I'm not a PhD in the Nightless section of the game, so who knows? Ooh, the 6-6 close slash. Explosive high octane action applied by Civ very early into this set. And then going under with a 2D. I mean, it's not the most low-profile sliding move. Okay. I love to see that. Love to see the first Master's Hammer being thrown on reaction. That way we know that the non-Slayer player is just... it is not going to be automatically fricked over by just, you know, getting Master's Hammered over and over again. But I mean, the same goes for like the opposite direction. If you can't counter Rekka, if you can't counter Pineberry, then you're gonna be taking like infinitely dangerous mix-ups over and over again. The critical hit is inbound if Civ managed to find a hit. Far slash, yep, that goes definitely into a comfortable combo. Choosing to cut it short with the super, but okay, we've definitely established this layer of the RPS with the instant air dash, empty air after the wall break into bite. Very dangerous, very damaging, especially since the next hit is gonna be a counter hit guaranteed if that happens. Nice, we got the counter hit correct conversions. Civ once again tried to go for a burst bait, but Dylan at this point has seen a lot of those bursts instead when they are on their own offense. 100 meter. Oh, but maybe was trying to go for it. Maybe getting their inputs crossed up by the 6-6, the dash through of our little vampire here. Yeah, that definitely works. So the Pineberry puts you airborne in an airborne state. Basically, puts your hurtbox airborne while the hitbox remains on the ground, which is actually kind of a great property against Slayer, who would like to play grounded normal on the X-axis. Into the Pineberry we go, close slash counter hit. Let's see which is followed through with the Rekka 1, 2, 3. Ooh, great counter to play there by Civ. So one thing about this matchup here is that Civ does play Elfa herself. Has a lot of different characters, so definitely aware of all the options that this character can represent on offense. Wow, that was interesting snapshot there where both players have just 100 meter ready to go. Hiccup. Alright, once again, 1, 2, 3. And the cool thing on some of the modern patches is that when you go for the Rekka shotgun finisher, it actually causes a little wall bounce, allowing you to vacuum the opponent out of the corner and gives you some opportunities for stealing the corner with cross-ups as well. And I think they improved the frame data at some point as well. Ooh, Civ trying to wait for the burst, but a good timing for Dylan once again. And surely gonna be enough. Wait, didn't Dylan get 1 point at... Wasn't the previous game Dylan's, or is it yet? Huh? Am I mixing myself up? I do know that I think Civ has 3. But I'm unsure if Dylan has 1. Oh, we're going into the full loop. Okay. Cashing out damage, resetting in the Master's Hammer. And in that situation, when you are actually taking a combo, it can divert your attention to other things. And you might not be ready to take the Master's Hammer cross-up reset there that Civ ended up playing. Great mash into Pineberry, preventing the backdash from going online. Uh-oh, counter hit. Misses the pickup though. I think the Master's Hammer counter hit pickups did change in the sort of the newest patch, right? Within a 6-speed, dangerous business in the modern patches as they are homogenized in terms of how punishable they are. Oh, did Civ hit a button here? It's a little... okay. Ended up getting the block. Oh, what was that cross-up? stealing the corner with the grenade, and a deep dash, catching the backdash from Civ. Starting with a 6P, which will counter the far slash that Civ was trying to play here. The very delayed empty 2D definitely works out for the sort of the backdash from Slayer, even though it is a 6-frame invo backdash, so basically a big body backdash. It's like big body plus. It makes you. It has a lot of recovery. It does move you really back, like really far backwards though. So it's a great backdash at neutral at least. Sent it. Burst bait. There is so much burst baiting back and forth, but neither player so far, I think, has been able to get the right read on the opponent's burst timing so far. Alright, should be a wrap, right? Yeah, got the stake, got the super, got the die. Alright, able to get himself on the board, and not too early, not too late. At a perfectly precise moment to start this run back. Nice. A top player doesn't start the comeback too early, doesn't start the comeback too late. They start the comeback at precisely the right moment. Just like wizards. Ooh, unfortunately, a whiff on the combo here. New opportunity. Oh, okay, so we go for the /5 heavy variant. And ending in the bite. That's a very reminiscent combo as well, because a lot of Slayer's combo routes back in the day used to consist of like close/far/links. Which is kind of cool that they brought the same non-typical Guilty Gear Strive routing back with the advent of Slayer in this game again. Okay, a quick 60-70% of your life is gone, and then what? Dash into a far slash from Dylan. Both players have spent their burst. What was that button? Jump K coming down from a very nice angle. Now mix-ups potentially inbound. Civ standing up for the Rekka and then catching the... I think that was supposed to be like S Rekka into throw reset, which Civ, of course, has played herself. Here and there. This reversal should be good. And ends up doing enough damage as well. What it lacks in startup, it makes up in reach, as well as, I guess it's one of the more damaging supers. Or is it just average? Nice throw once again. It's gonna be like a really, it's probably gonna be super creative spots where Civ has to get the Master's Hammers if she really wants to nail it in. Because like a lot of the most standard Master's Hammer resets have been just, or not just resets, but also approaches have just been casually thrown by Dylan. Oh, this time we go for the Gold Burst. It's gonna be a nice option select. If it ends up being the Master's Hammer, you also get the positive bonus on board there. Starting with a 6P again, that has been one of the most used buttons for Dylan at round start. But it is a dangerous button to press as well, because this Vampire can pack a 2 heavy or 2D. Out of both of those counter hits, you are definitely going for Mr. Bones' wild ride. Yeah, this time it's once again far slash. If it has been a lot of 6P for Dylan, it has been a lot of far slash for Civ as well. And like, who wouldn't love to work with the classics? There is a lot of repellents for Slayer, a lot of different options that can persuade you into not challenging the classic 6P. Oh, there we go. Was expecting it at some point, that finally being utilized there. Round start too heavy. Basically saying stop pressing those standing buttons. Or sorry, those I mean, Yeah, usually crouching buttons, but I guess like 6B is sort of a crouching button in a way. I guess in that case the problem is that the 6 heavy just can't reach far enough. It wants to be a counter poke. So if the opponent is not poking, then you're basically whiffing. That must have got a jump out or a backdash there from Dylan. Quite able to backdash out of there. The far slash, the quick rifle jab. The back of the bayonet. And we go into the first bomb jacket setup of the set. If you block incorrectly here, oh, got the explosion with the Rekka. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways for Elfalt to trigger that bomb belt. You can basically use any of your mix-up tools. You can play the cross-up with, you know, your air dashes or your grenades, but you can also go for just the standard high-low with your Rekkas. Or even use both. Great 6P there, expecting the Bridal Express to go online. Yeah, got an RC here. If you send a big old bile bunker on block. So close to killing. 6 heavy, not quite enough damage here on the wall break. But Civ at this moment, yeah, has a really overwhelming advantage. All the resources in the world. We got burst, we got 50 meter, we got full health.
Duel 1.
As well as a lot of points. 2-5 is the situation in Civ's favor here. Great check there. We indeed have a gap. Interrupted by the Elfalt 2P. Yeah, even if the Pineberry ends up missing like it did here, you can kinda transition into a jump in if the opponent is not, you know, twitch reacting. Forcing the pressure from the pile bunk on block is one of the classic ways of kinda saying like, okay, I'm gonna do a forward moving DP into RC. But of course it's not a DP because it's not a reversal. But looking at the disjointed hitbox, oh my god, we're getting mixed up here. Or are we? Are we? Civ actually blocking a lot of stuff. I'm a little hesitant, like, judging whether that was a successful or an unsuccessful pressure sequence, because like it kept on going, but it didn't get confirmed successfully by Dylan. And in fact, in the end, Civ managed to block so many of those that the back throw was the bane of our bunny girl in the end. Or maybe an ex-bunny girl. There we go, first bait on the burst of the set. Finally a successful one. Civ just absolutely committing to it. I think that was the kind of commitment where you not only commit, but you double down. Saying, okay, I know it's gonna come out, I'm gonna first bait it, and then I'm gonna keep blocking even on the OTG. Wait, huh? I thought the pile bunker was landing on, oh, because it was a guard crush. So, was it the red RC explosion that black beated Dylan there? What? I mean, I guess that is a thing. That is a thing for sure. I think that was what it was. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, you do see it from time to time, right? But now, Civ has been able to procure the set points position here. Backdash out of the command grab. Get back in there. Time to mix it up. Simple 5 heavy situation into. Break it with the super. Tap them with the 5D, and because we are playing against Slayer, who basically can't do anything about this other than maybe backdash out of it. Semi-safe to play that 5D tap RC. Great escape from the corner with just a standard instant air dash. Civ tries to play the same as well, but Dylan placing himself in a perfect position. Nice reaction to the Pineberry. Oh, and baits the burst. Civ turning on the heat. going 100 miles per hour, or maybe even more. Ooh, but now it's Dylan's turn to brake. No way, no way. From that high speed position, Sid was still just waiting for it, waiting for the Pineberry to happen. These are, I think, the kind of the most nutty situations in my mind when you're actually doing like doing something like taking a combo, and then during that combo you are still just like 100% focused on the pressure reset, which, mind you, ended up happening there. Yeah, I think this is a good showcase for how much value you can derive in a matchup when you know the matchup really well. Civ has played the alpha herself, has played it on bounty hunters as well, and basically knew all of the tricks of the trade, or sorry, tools of the trick. I mean either way works. Tools of the trade, tricks of the trade. You know, all of that good stuff. Oakley dokily, this extended till almost 10 o'clock. So 3 hours and 40 minutes. One of the longest bounty hunters that we've had in a while. So let me make this brief. Thank you everybody for watching the first bounty hunters of the year. There is gonna be a lot of them to come, unless the support for this game ends, or I mean, I'm not sure what kind of a calamity we would need to have for us to stop hosting these, but for the foreseeable future, you can join my Discord and join the fun. Even if you're from off region, we usually try to find a match for you. But I mean, most of our player base is European based, so if you, a little hint is if you are signing up from like West Coast North America, South America, Asia, that kind of regions that are a little bit harder to match with the European region, the secret trick is to maybe bring a friend with you who you already know you have good connection to. That way you will actually guarantee that you will get a match on Bounty Hunters. But that said, we will see you again in a period of 1 week exactly. 5 p.m. CET next Sunday is another Bounty Hunters. Till then, thank you so much for watching. I think I'll send you guys off to the gender cross-up, which has been running for probably at least half an hour already. Usually we end the show before they go online, but today is that rare opportunity for us to raid. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Happy 2026. I didn't make the mistake. I didn't get the year wrong. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. You don't have that on tape. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.